it's over. Do you need anything like I need you? I've got no place to be alone, my friend. He cut his wrist instead. There's your answer. You better save yourself, or else nothing like success. I would rather be in hell than regret. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? No, I do. Denial. These are not my words. Tell me where are mine? Most of the time, wet my face with reality and permit me to breathe before I do it again. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you?
Yo, 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 yo. Let's go. Let's go, baby. I saw your math problem about your dad going to the grocery store. That's a tough one. Oh, shit. Let's go. Let's go. Get some water. Get some H2O. What's that?
change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. Let's go. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey,
let's go.
I just want to change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating.
8:30 in the morning in Germany. All right. Let's go.
I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they say.
Dude, Rockstar tastes better at midnight.
You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Radiant.
My world. Dude, the drummer is so good, man. Hey, woo.
I can't pretend. No. I hope this never ends.
It's about
You. I would never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant.
Dude, so the big news of the day is still the Ghislaine Maxwell tapes. So I did not read the whole thing, but I did sort of skip ahead a little bit and skim it and sort of see what's coming. And dude, when we get to page 95, like, you're gonna shit yourself when you see the turn this takes. I mean, we know, right? We know from simply looking, right? Just looking at the beginning, okay? We know she's spinning a tale. She's spinning a yarn about, you know, oh, I hardly knew Jeffrey. I was like his general manager. I helped him find real estate. But wait till you see the story she drops, bro. I mean, It's pretty wild. Like, let me just tell you, I think the family of 𝗤𝗙𝗄𝗽 should sue the Trump administration, right? Dude, it's crazy. It's fucking, it gets fucking crazy, guys. Let me just tell you, it gets crazy. And they did something on purpose too, with like how they redacted it. Okay? Dude, it's gonna be nutty. But yeah, no, let me get this shit set up. Let me figure out where we were. Administration, regime, yeah, same difference. Dude, I feel like we should sue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I want to sue them for lies, right? Is it possible? Brian, what's up? I don't know if that's even possible, but I want to come up with a clever way of like suing the Trump administration. Dude, they need an ass beating. So we are on, we're on this one, part 2. All right, hold on. I'm going to find where we were. Let me get that over here. Dude, this shit is nuts. Dude, she spins some yarns. Ghislaine, like it is, wait till you see, guys. You'll see. All right, let's figure out where we were. All right, give me 1 sec here because I closed all my fucking windows. Because I'm a bit of a clown show. I went to a wedding tonight, so that was nice. It was a person I knew from the old theater days, one of Jenny's friends, and it was good. It was good. It's a good wedding. They had sushi. They had a taco bar and sushi. It was amazing. It was good stuff. All right, let me find this. Dude, both my teams lost today. Yeah, well, so what's funny, 𝗙𝗚, is what she does is they do this dance where eventually Ghislaine, they redact Virginia's name, but they don't redact her boyfriend. So what she does is she names Virginia's boyfriend at that time. So everybody knows, and they didn't redact his name, so everybody knows who Ghislaine is talking about. And then she basically says that Virginia is the one who did all the trafficking, right? That's her, right? And obviously Virginia's dead, so there's no way to like refute that. Isn't that wild? Dude. She basically says, yeah, you're going to see this. She basically says that it was Virginia and her boyfriend that did all of it. That, like, Ghislaine, I didn't do anything. Nobody else did anything. It all, like, that girl managed everything, right? That's the angle they're doing is, dude, the family has to sue, right? That's crazy. And what's wild is there that we know there's shit in the actual files that refutes the shit out of that. Okay? But it is crazy. And so what they do though, guys, is they did this purposely where Todd Blanche, Trump's DOJ, they didn't redact Virginia's boyfriend's name. So everybody who reads it will know, like, you'd be able to know who she's talking about. They did it like super, like they should have redacted his name too to protect the victim, but they didn't. They left his name unredacted, right? And it's just a dirty scoundrel move. And, you know, yeah, it's pretty brutal. All right. So I'm going to get this ready. We're getting, this is the one. Let me find where we were. We were on like page 27. Yeah, dude, this shit is nuts. Unfucking believable. Dude, when I read that, I was livid, guys. All right. Went to Montana. Okay, so here's where Ghislaine's about to tell us she has no money. Right? Oh shit. Yeah, the commissary, the commission for like a hit, we haven't gotten there, right? I haven't seen that yet, but we will. Are you ready? We're going to just get right in. So let me figure out where this is. They had just talked about they went to Montana and they were looking for New Mexico. Let me find this.
And years forward?
So I did travel with him a lot.
Okay.
So
I did travel with him. Yes. Okay, here we go. There's where we're at. All right, you ready? So I did travel with him. We're not quite there. We got to go a little further. She talked about him liking other forms of sexual activities. All right. All right, here we go. Never was with him regularly. Eva Anderson. So we are about here. Was land. Okay, purchasing land. We're going to get in right about there.
and I know that she was family for him for his whole life. Communication. I can see it from the flight logs, and I know it now because I can see from the emails.
So you know from the case
Yes,
that
not from,
what happened?
Yes,
you
I didn't know.
that along the way.
Contemporaneously, I absolutely did not know.
All right, contemporaneously. There it is. All right. All right, you ready? Here we go. We're in. You ready? Let's get in. All right, dude, yeah, no, seriously. You're right. The entire Maxwell family is dirty. Okay? The entire Maxwell family is dirty and scoundrelly, but I want to cover some ground, so I'm going to mostly let it play. I'm only going to chime in when we really have to. But man, this is crazy. We see what's going on now. Okay? We see what's going on now is essentially what they were doing was Ghislaine didn't testify at her trial. And so now at her trial, they blamed it on Sarah Kellen and Adriana Ross and the other people that had immunity from the original deal. Who also, don't get me wrong, Adriana Ross and Sarah Kellen, they're absolutely guilty. And right, they are. The four that were on that immunity deal, Nadia Marcinkova and Leslie Groff, they are absolutely guilty. All four of them should be in fucking prison right now. But they got off because they were listed on that immunity deal. They went after Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, but now she's like changing up. She's about to change up in a really insane fucking way. All right, here we go. Let's get in.
So, okay, so just, and we're going to spend time on everything you're talking about, but just to kind of close out big picture your relationship. So we're now in the late 90s. Continue on with, again, staying high level to the extent you can about your relationship.
Okay, so now they're into the late 90s is where we're at. And to address your question, Lila, so the thing about this is essentially all of these women were victims to some degree. Okay, they're right. Like, even if you look at somebody like 𝗙cie 𝗶𝗏𝗀, she was a victim to some degree. She went in there. I don't know if she ever gave Jeff a massage or if she was ever like molested by him, but he was manipulative and abusive with all of these people. However, when you have people at 𝗙cie 𝗶𝗏𝗀's level who, no matter how they got into that thing, eventually they became the ringleaders, you know, scheduling girls to go to the island and making sure they didn't escape and shit. You're dealing with some criminal shit that goes beyond like I was a victim. Now, there are some young women who were like 15 who got their friends to show up so that way they didn't get abused, but that's a little different. If you're actively getting abused in those massages and you realize your way out of that abuse is to find some friends who want to do it, you're like in the trauma and you're trying to get out of the trauma. That's a little different than somebody who has the address book of like all the girls, coordinating their flights, building the massage schedule, right? There's a difference, I believe, between actively being in your trauma and doing what you can to stop the abuse and having taken a job as an abuser where now you're dishing out large-scale abuse, you know, for years. I mean, 𝗙cie 𝗶𝗏𝗀 was like jet setting and you know what I'm saying? She's like going to all the fashion shows and the events. She was like, became a socialite in this circle that is, you know, I tend to not look at that. I look at that as a little more, you know, I know there's like nuance, but she was definitely became like a ringleader, right? And so Jack, the way massage is it was a regular massage, but with, you know, sexual stuff, right? I mean, you know, it's him on a massage table. There's a regular massage with untrained masseuse that then gets sexual in some way. But all right, now we're going in. We're listening. Here we go.
So my responsibilities increased with each acquisition that he put and each new project. So I believe the first thing that he purchased after was the ranch in New Mexico.
Okay.
And so what he had tasked me with up until that, and I think that was purchased in 94, if I'm right. So he had tasked me, one of the things that we did was visit, in my mind I say every state, but it wouldn't have been every state, but many states, to go look at real estate and property. And so I know we went to Montana, I know we went to Utah, and it was to go look at real estate. It was fun, to be honest. And then I arranged for us to go to New Mexico, and he just loved New Mexico. And then I don't remember how the ranch happened. I don't remember that now. It's lost. And then he ended up buying the ranch. And I think, if I'm right, it came from the kings who may have been the governor. Bought the ranch, and then I had to deal with that. And dealing with that was extensive. I mean, the way that I thought of myself, or the way that I think is the best way to explain how I view my role, was as a general manager, because each property to me was like a hotel. So the ranch was very challenging, because not only that, but it had BLM land. So to maintain your BLM, you had to have cattle. And I love animals, and so the first thing, horses, and so I wanted it, if you're going to have a ranch, I like authenticity, so I don't think you should have a ranch if you're not going to have the things that make it special.
So were you paid by him along the way?
So I became salaried at some point.
Okay.
My memory is that I got paid $25,000 a year to begin with. That's my memory. I may be wrong. And then with each, as it became more obvious, because I kept thinking I was going to go home being and but it.
Did you, and financially, you were not relying on him, the $25,000 or whatever amount you were paid, were you relying on that money to live and his generosity to live, or did you have your own money?
So there's a...
And again, I want to just make sure we're talking about like keeping it between like the late 90s, you know, maybe I guess into a little of the 2000s.
See, first off, like what's crazy about this, guys, is we don't even need this information, right? We don't even need this information. It's like so senseless. The you know, the whole point of talking to her was to figure out who were the guys involved with this shit. And they're just like doing a tour here of Ghislaine. Well, they're letting Ghislaine Maxwell establish an alternate reality of what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. And then eventually what she's doing is she's going to start implicating some of the people that are dead, right? That's what she's going to do. She's about to pass the whole thing off on a dead person. So there's nothing they can do about it.
I just want to hit something on the head right now. There's a tremendous amount of reporting that said that I had a trust fund. Thank you. A trust fund. I have never had a trust fund at any time.
So how did you live? Did you live with I mean, 25,000 is not enough to live on.
No. So I had, during this period of time, the Serious Fraud Squad had come to see me in relation to my father's passing and to establish whether I had been involved in any way with his business or with any shenanigans. I think I've told the story many times, so I don't know if it's now somewhat hypocritical, but I'll tell you what my memory is. So I received a letter from them that said, go about my business, and my memory, maybe hypocritical, there was a PS that said, I used Snow White's cousin. I had nothing. I was never involved in any of his business, whatever, so I was free. And
But you're, you know, obviously your father and your family had a lot of businesses. Is it because the money, whatever money or whatever equity was in the businesses, just stayed with your other family members?
No, there was no money. So my father was never attached to money. He was born a peasant, a real one. Dirt floor, no shoes, no clothes. You know, some clothes, but not, you know. Sorry, I don't mean to say, and nothing. And he was never into that. I mean, there were things that he had, his extravagances. He loved his boat and his plane. So obviously you need money for that, but there was nothing else.
Dude, yeah, she's like, he had no money. He's broke, right? Dude, she's like sitting there saying, oh, he was a peasant. He didn't really have money. He had his plane and his boat. Dude, his boat was like a massive, I mean, let's take a moment to look at the fucking Lady Ghislaine. Look at this shit, dude. All right? Dude, this thing is not, I mean, it's, you know, it's not Jeff Bezos's yacht, but dude, it's a pretty nice boat. It's a big one, okay? And right, you know what I'm saying? They had a yacht, he had a plane, he had, you know, and she's like trying to downplay it as like, oh, he really didn't have any money. He was really, I mean, he loved his plane, his boat, so he had to have a little money to get the yacht and the plane, but there was nothing else. And she's saying that there was not a single penny for her, which is also not true. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But whatever, right?
And there was not a single penny that came to any of us at any time, ever.
Okay, so when you're talking about your life with Mr. Epstein in the 90s, you're very different financially. You're very different financially positioned than he is. Meaning,
Absolutely.
He's giving you money. He's paying for your when you fly. He, I assume,
Absolutely.
pays for your flights.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I interrupted you when you were saying how you were functioning as general manager. You helped with the New Mexico ranch. So did your role with him continue like that for many years, or for how long?
So I continued in 2000. Well, by 1999, our relationship had foundered.
Why?
Well, two reasons. We were never sleeping together again, so we stopped having sexual relations in 1999. Not full sex, sorry, just to be clear. Didn't mean that we didn't still share a bedroom sometimes or whatever. He had another girlfriend.
He had what?
Other girlfriends. I definitively knew that it was over after 9/11, actually, because we were both in New York. And I don't know, were you in New York? 9/11, I mean, 9/11's, yeah. And it was a scary time if you were in New York. You didn't know, I didn't know, nobody knew what was going on. And he was in 71st Street and I was in 65th Street, my house. And he wouldn't see me at all. His mum, who I'm very close to, was in hospital at Lenox Hill, just asked me to look after her. And then I knew, as anyone did at that time, if you're not going to be there for someone in 9/11, you're never going to be there. So for me, that was the line in the sand. And he had another English girlfriend, actually, from 2000.
See, here's where it's going to get dicey, because she's saying her and Jeffrey broke up in 99, and then in 2000, he had another English girlfriend, which may very well be true. But dude, the times at the island with the groups of girls that were trapped there, this is like the Sarah Ransom from this book, okay? She is one of the girls pictured in this photo. Okay, I'm going to show you a photo real quick. All right. Let me show you this. So this photo right here, okay? This is one of the photos from her trial, okay? And this is Sarah Ransom, the woman who wrote this book, okay? This is 𝗙cie_𝗪𝗠𝗀𝗧, and then two unknown girls that were this is on the island, okay? And these girls were forced to be there. They were not allowed to leave. They had their cameras and phones and everything taken away from them when they were on the island. There was no photography there. They were part of the like Sex on the Island girls. This is in 2006. So Ghislaine Maxwell is saying she broke up with Jeffrey there in 99, 2000. A full 6 years later, Ghislaine is on this island while these girls are being held captive there as sex slaves. With it's Ghislaine, Jean-Luc Brunel, and Jeffrey Epstein were regularly at that island, okay? And the girls they would take photos of them. And if you read Sarah Ransom's book, she says how they like forced them to smile and be all giggly when they took the photos. But actually, there's some photos in there where you see her in the background just distraught because everybody was trapped on this island. And in fact, Jeffrey Epstein bought the nearest island. Okay, he bought Little St. James in 98. He bought the other island, Greater St. James, which was a swimmable distance from Little St. James. And he bought that second island because people would escape and they would swim to it. So he bought the fucking other island to make sure, because they couldn't swim. You couldn't get to like St. Thomas or anything, right? There's no way you're going to swim that. But he literally bought the island that was the escape route. You know, I mean, dude, we're talking like diabolical is a great way of putting it. It is messed up, man. And for example, here's a picture of Ghislaine. Okay, if you look at it, you see these doors here, right? Those are like, this is the island. This is the same spot, okay, that they're at. And there's Ghislaine and Jean-Luc Brunel. That was Epstein's partner in MC2 models. There's Ghislaine. She practically lived at this island. Okay. Now, again, all the employees of Epstein are like, Ghislaine's the ringleader here. She was very close to Jean-Luc Brunel. He also hanged himself in prison in 2022 when he was up on similar charges for trafficking and, you know, sexual abuse and rape of teen girls. Yeah, the executive phone, always. There's like an executive phone in like every picture. She has a whole bunch of pads and paper and shit. I mean, and dude, there are, if we look at the island, here's another picture in the same location with the executive phone of Jeffrey Epstein. That's Sarah Kellen giving him a massage, right? Here is Ghislaine and Jean-Luc Brunel on that same patio, right? They're like playing around with each other, kicking it, okay? Here's another photo of, you know, those girls, Nadya Marcinkova and that other Jane Doe girl. I mean, there's a lot, okay? Right? You know, but Ghislaine was there often, okay? Ghislaine was there often. She practically lived on that island with Jeffrey. All right, just to set the stage. And that's a full 6 years after they like broke up. So, all right, you know, so she was there for something. She was there for some reason, right?
Are you, though, still on his, are you still being paid by him at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. So what, at that point, when you say you realize kind of...
Well, I mean, I'm talking about I wanted to get married and have children. And Epstein had encouraged me to believe that would, I don't know about them, certainly by the late 90s, I knew the marriage part was never going to happen. I had believed that maybe.
Okay, so I have to pause right here before we go forward because she's now in the mid to late 90s. She's saying she wanted to get married and have kids, and Jeffrey Epstein let her know that wasn't going to happen. But it was 1996 when Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein together sexually molested Annie Farmer. That was Maria Farmer's 16-year-old sister. Okay, that was in 96. That was when Maria first called the FBI and reported Jeffrey Epstein and reported Donald Trump. Okay, because of their behavior around this shit.
In 96, 97, 98 maybe, but then I realized it wasn't that. But I did think that we might have a child, which is what I had really wanted. I realized...
So what happens between 2001 and then 2019 with your relationship with him?
So...
Give or take 2001.
So we stopped having physicality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't mean we weren't friends. I certainly did stay sometimes in his room. I mean, friends with benefits, if you will, just not sex.
Okay.
Sorry, just and I started dating.
Okay.
And I met someone that I fell very much in love with in 2003. His name was Ted Wade. Ted Wade, you may know as the founder of Gateway, the computers. And we had an amazing relationship that went on until 2010, I think. And I was with Ted from that time.
Did you meet him through Mr. Epstein?
No. Well, indirectly, I suppose you could say. So. No, they'd never met. I was at a dinner where I met Ted, but it wasn't. I was with President Clinton. President Clinton was my friend, not Epstein's friend.
All right. You see that? Right here's the start of her covering for President Clinton, right? President Clinton was my friend, not Epstein's friend. Oh, I've met him indirectly through Epstein. Oh, not really. I was with President Clinton. because she basically exonerates all of the upper tier people, right? You know what I mean? And now she's like doing a little Clinton coverage. I'm telling you guys, this shit is deep. This shit, I feel like it's imperative that we follow this just to the absolute end of the earth.
And Epstein had flown him. And there was a dinner, and Ted came to the dinner. So I guess indirectly through Mr. Epstein, because it was his plane, but I'd have been there anyway without him. Was
Epstein on the plane when you guys flew?
On that trip, yes. Oh, well, yes. Yes.
Dude, so she said, you see what she just did here? Like, just look at this, okay? She said it was indirectly through him, and then she said, well, indirectly, they'd never met. She said Ted and Jeffrey Epstein had never met. And then she goes on to say, well, it was Mr. Epstein's plane. Ted came to the dinner, right? It was with his plane, okay? So he had flown Ted to dinner, right? And I think, or oh no, she's saying President Clinton. Oh, she might be saying Clinton and Epstein flew on the plane. Dude, she's not being very clear here, right? I thought she was saying that he flew Ted to the dinner. Dude, well, what's interesting is she's rehearsed, but there are, I swear to you, during some of the breaks, we heard it yesterday where there were some noises. There's some shit going on. I think her lawyers or something are scripting something, or they change her direction sometimes, because you'll see she'll say something, there's like a break, and then all of a sudden, oh, let me go change course. I mean, they're building a narrative. They're building a prefabricated narrative of who they're dropping the blame on. I think trying to set up however they're going to refute the information that's in those files. You know what I'm saying?
So when you say the dinner was where?
Okay.
Okay. And so you had flown over with, so who was on the plane for that trip? I don't mean everybody. When you said, so Mr. Epstein was on the plane?
Yes.
You were on
so yeah, dude, the dinner was in Hong Kong. So I think Ted had to be flown unless Ted was just in Hong Kong. So she's saying Epstein and Ted never met, but they were at a dinner together and they were on the plane together. And dude, this whole thing is just like, all right.
plane?
Yes.
Who else that you can remember? I'm not, you only know what you remember.
Was
Yeah.
President Clinton on the plane?
Clinton. He would have had his guy, Doug Vance. Maybe Jason Cooper. Maybe Trouble the Two.
And so why? So how do you meet? Why do you say that's when you met him, and that you met him through Clinton?
Well, I don't think Ted would have been there had it not been it was a President Clinton dinner, and Ted came to be with President Clinton, not to be with Mr. Epstein. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's why I say that.
Okay, so so in the time that you're dating, that you're with him to 2009, are you still working for Mr. Epstein during that time?
It'd be true to say that Jeffrey tried very hard, Mr. Epstein tried very hard to keep me to working for him, because this is a complex operation.
So here's she's saying she's about to like squeak herself out of the Epstein work cycle. Mind you, in 2006, supposedly she's dating that Ted guy from 2003 to 2010. In 2006, she's on the island almost all the time. Just FYI, I just showed you those photos.
I'm not talking about anything untoward, just the sheer size of the projects. I'm talking the construction projects, the houses, the staff. It's a really significant job. And I ran all the properties, the staff in the properties, the management of the properties. That and all the construction. And we're talking tens of millions of dollars for the island alone.
Jesus.
I can't remember what the budget was for the construction on any given year. It's gone. But it was, these are very significant projects. And so that was what I did, and I managed the budgets. Well, I didn't manage the budgets, I oversaw the budget. So I would just make sure that if you said you bought a air conditioning plant, I saw an air conditioning plant, and I could call the island manager, did you receive the carrier, whatever, you know.
When did Mr. Epstein purchase the island?
I want to say 96 or 97.
It was 98 when he purchased Little St. James.
Like
Okay, so we're going to come back and spend more time on the money with respect to Mr. Epstein and his wealth, but just so we can finish this. So in 2009, you end your relationship with Ted?
2009, 2010.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was 10.
Okay.
I don't know.
So in that time period, what happens next with as far as your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
I don't have one with him.
You don't have one of him, like, you don't see him, or it's just a different relationship?
I did see, I maybe saw him once or twice, or maybe even 3 times. I certainly went to his house once, for sure. Maybe twice. But I was not seeing him. The only time that I was in touch with him was when the things happened, like things, I mean, in the press that affected me, or when the CVRA case was filed and there was all that rubbish that went out, because I needed information. Because I didn't know anything about what was happening, and I needed his help. To understand, well, it doesn't make it sound right. Rephrase that. I don't mean his help. I meant to have answers so that I had an ability to defend myself. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking
So
anything.
when does that relationship change? So you're working, you talked about when the physical relationship stopped, and then you're still working for him or with him, managing his properties and serving as like a general manager. You then start your own relationship with another individual, with Ted, from 2003 till 2009 or 10. At what point in that whole period is there like more of a break where you're no longer acting as his general manager?
I wanted to have a full break when I started dating Ted, and he was clever. I suppose it would be true to say that I sort of viewed Mr. Epstein at that point as sort of family, if you will, like someone I could rely on. And I should have had more confidence in myself, I can see that now, but at the time, given everything that had happened in my life, I thought that it would, and I saw how he was with other people like Eva, who seemed to be very comfortable staying there. I thought this would be, and he always said I was like family, so he worked hard to maintain a relationship with me. He was generous with me. He let me use the plane, for instance, which was very generous. He would check in with my mum. Things that were meaningful to me in that time. And then, it may still not have worked, but that his mother, Paula, had been in a very serious car crash, and she had become sort of like a surrogate mother for me, sort of because my mum wasn't there. I could look after her the way that I would have. The way that I would have liked to look after my own mum. So I became very close to his mother.
Dude, that's so weird. You notice how it got unnoisy. The audio quality just like completely changed and got better right when she's like getting all emotional or whatever. Dude, what are we listening to, bro? Oh my God.
And she had been in a car crash, and in 2004, I believe, it may have been 5, I don't recall exactly, she took her health took a serious decline. And Epstein called me and asked me if I could look after her. By looking after her, that meant organizing her doctors, making sure she had new clothes, making sure her house was clean.
Where was she?
She lived in a retirement establishment outside of Palm Beach, it's West Palm. I was going to say something like the Golden Girls, but it's not called that. I just don't remember what it's called. But it was an old age. It was a retirement home, if you will.
Todd, I don't know. We've been going for maybe about an hour now. Do you think, is this a good
Sure.
time?
Yeah. So we'll take a break. Yep.
All right, so we're going to take a break. The time is 10:56.
Okay, so there we go. That was 45 minutes, and they take a break right there. All right, now we're gonna come back for fucking part 2. Dude, yeah, it is so weird. This shit. I'm sorry, but I find her like 0% believable, like less than 0. Okay. Started talking about West Palm. Yeah. Well, that's really interesting too, because West Palm is where that's where all the girls came from. Because if you guys don't know the way Palm Beach is set up, Palm Beach is a strip, okay, that touches the ocean, and then there's a waterway between it and the mainland. So Palm Beach, where Epstein lived and where the fancy hotels are, where Mar-a-Lago is on this beach strip that's like an island, okay? And then West Palm is the city that is on the mainland across from that island. And West Palm is like pretty gritty. Yeah, Palm Beach is fucking wealthy as fuck. And West Palm is like trailer parks. And you know what I mean? It is working class and below working class. And a lot of the poor people that live in West Palm, they, are the maids and servants of everybody who lives on Palm Beach. It's one of those types of, wealth economies where there's a working class, like poverty-stricken town that does all the work to keep the beautiful, rich area looking smashing and maintained, right? The rich people, without those poor people, they'd have to do the work themselves, which God forbid they're going to do that. But yeah, that's where all the girls are from. Is all the girls that were being abused were all from broken homes on West Palm. You know what I mean? Do those structures have a future with sea level rising and hurricanes? Yeah. So Palm Beach doesn't get the direct hurricane blast that a lot of the other, like, I'm not sure why. Like, you know what I'm saying? First off, it is Palm Beach is on the Atlantic side. And to be quite honest, I think most of the hurricanes come up from the south and curve through the Gulf, because I think occasionally they hit the coast, but the Atlantic coast is not usually hit as much, because I don't quote me on this, but it is my understanding that the hurricanes follow the warm water significantly. And the Gulf of Mexico gets really warm. There's like a warm thing. I think the hurricanes come from the south and fucking a lot of times curl in from the Gulf of Mexico side. You know what I mean? Dude, let's go, Sand Groper. Let's go, baby. But if we look at like, let's see, let me see if I can find something. See, if you look at this, right? here's the thing looking. If you look at this, like a lot of times hurricanes come up and across that way, right? Sometimes they go straight across, right? Occasionally they go up the side there. But if you look at the Florida hurricane history, it's pretty complicated, but a lot of them come up on this side. All right. Now, Miami's down here. Palm Beach is up here, which is like right on the nub. But you see, there was a 2004 hurricane that went across there. And then, but 2017 went up on this side, and some of them crossed this way. But Palm Beach is up there. But I do know a lot of hurricanes come this way, and sometimes they go right up the coast. But it's pretty wild. You know what's really wild to me, though, guys? What's really wild to me is how the hurricanes are, they all come from the same coast of Africa. That's where they originate. And they rip through the Caribbean, and they rip through like Florida and Louisiana and Alabama and South Carolina and North Carolina. Like they hit all the slave areas, guys. Isn't that weird? I've always thought that was weird and thought that was like connected to the energy of the planet, that all of the hurricanes start off the one cape in Africa and they rip right through all the slave trading areas of Florida, the southern states, and the Caribbean and the Virgin Islands and shit, which was all the like sugar plantation slaves and shit. Isn't that weird? I mean, that's it. That's where the hurricanes are. They come off Africa and they rage right through the areas that were predominantly enslaved. It's fucking bizarre when you look at it. Do I think it's weather modification? No, because it's happened, like hurricanes have been happening for hundreds and, a long time. I've always felt that it was like Earth, right? It was like the planet feeling the pain of its own planet and just creating like an equalizer. I don't know. I just think it's weird. That shit is weird when that kind of shit happens. All right, we're going into fucking volume 2 now, guys. Next up, hopefully we're going to get to that crazy shit. All right. Yeah. I don't know. When you think of the earth as a living organism, right? You think of the earth as a living organism, the earth is going to react to the shit that happens on it. I think, right? Dude, yeah, the hurricanes are fucked. They are, dude. Florida is, and the earth is a living organism. Absolutely. I mean, the tectonic plates are growing. The ocean floor is like literally growing. Like the earth is absolutely a living organism. Everything, the ground you walk on is moving and volcanically like slipping under pieces. The earth's plates are like alive, dude. The earth is absolutely alive. The ocean floor is alive. It's like growing from volcanic activity as it stretches. Like, you know what I mean? The earth is 100% a living thing. It's fucking, people forget that shit. You know what I mean? People forget that shit. They act like, oh, the earth is just this fucking rock or whatever. But dude, if you go down deep into the earth, it's fucking alive, bro. And it's like, and in fact, we're pulling all of the life force out of the planet as we pull all the natural resources and shit. We're kind of like, I mean, when they say we're killing the planet, it is like, it is absolute. We are absolutely killing a living thing. You know what I'm saying? But all right. Anyway, we continue.
We're continuing the proper interview with Miss Maxwell. The time is 11:07 a.m. on Thursday, July 24th.
All right. So,
dude, and again, it's absolutely an organism, right? And I believe if you look at it, I feel like it's responding, right? Like, for example, in Texas, where they have these large-scale cattle fields and all the methane and all the chemicals and shit in Texas that are like destroying the atmosphere just like the storms are starting to ravage fucking Texas. It's like if you abuse the planet, the storms get worse where you're abusing it. It is like absolutely responding to itself, you know, like all organisms. I mean, all organisms are alive and they all respond to stimuli, you know what I mean? I mean, if you look at it, everything's alive, right? This solid glass bottle is like thousands of fucking moving parts, millions, you know what I'm saying? Millions of dancing, fucking high-speed moving electrons and shit. Marisol, let's go. Fall asleep hearing my voice. Dude, let's set a dance goal. Let's set a dance party goal. All right, before you go to sleep. Let's go. 10 super chats. I mean, people don't treat it like an organism, which is a tragedy, right? Maybe one day they will. You know what they say? Have you heard that saying, guys? There we go. There's 1 hour. Have you heard the saying? That the saying goes like this, that like the advancement of climate change and climate disasters is first you like hear like, oh, there's disasters happening. And then next they're happening so often that you can like remember when they're happening. And then next thing you know, you're watching video of them happening. And then next thing you know, you're filming the video of them happening, right? You know what I mean? Like eventually it's like we're all going to be fucking filming like natural disasters happening. Pretty soon you're the one filming it. Dude, it's crazy. Dude, and I mean we're definitely we've seen some fucking crazy shit. Like it's the earth is getting more and more pissed for sure.
Just picking up where we just stopped, so you have basically a break. Well, not a break, that's the wrong word, but your relationship with Mr. Maxwell, professional and other, changes in 2003, 4?
Yeah, I mean, over the time that I stay with Ted, the more time I'm with Ted, the more distance I have with him. And then when the arrest, well, let's go back, when whatever happened in 2005 and he became arrested in 2006.
So when he's charged and arrested in what we'll call the Florida investigations, that's what you're talking about?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was not in, well,
were you part of that investigation?
Absolutely not.
Did law enforcement ever talk to you as part of that? Did you, like, the feds never talked to you? No. The FBI never talked to you?
No. I never even received a phone call.
So you didn't receive a subpoena?
No.
Did the state law enforcement ever reach out to you?
No.
As far as you know, did the government, either state or federal, subpoena your bank records or subpoena anything from your financial life during that time, that time?
Not as far as I'm aware. Now, if they did, I don't know it, and I have no idea about that, to be honest, but I'm not aware of it, and I would say no, but maybe you guys do things that I don't know.
So how did you learn of that case? When Mr. Epstein was arrested, or did you know that something was happening before then?
Okay, so one of the things I'll say, dude, thank you guys, Carmen, let's go. Let me give you one of these. I want to give you a little heads up. At the time of the first arrest in 2005, okay, it was Epstein's primary, like, stagehands, if you will. Like, Ghislaine was his primary person in the 90s and through early 2000s. Okay, by the time you get into 2005, it was Epstein and Sarah Kellen and Nadia Marcinkova, Leslie Groff, and Adriana Ross. Okay, those 4 women were on the immunity deal with Epstein. Now, there's a serious travesty of justice here because we don't know like what happened. What we know is the Palm Beach police investigated this thing and built the case, but the state's attorney, Barry Krischer, who was the prosecutor for Palm Beach County, He did not interview any of the witnesses. Okay, he had this huge case file. He didn't interview anyone. None of the victims, none of the perps, nobody. He literally took the thing to a grand jury, sabotaged his own case. Okay, then the police called the FBI and said, hey man, our attorney is sabotaging this case. Will you please come help us? This is a big deal. The FBI came in and reinvestigated everything. And then 𝗪𝗪𝗪 let Epstein go. And those 4 women that were his chief lieutenants. Now, I'm not sure why Ghislaine was not listed in that document. It's possible that this was like the heart of her relationship with that other guy. But we do know that 2006, she's on the island a whole bunch with Epstein in 2006. And Epstein was investigated in like 2005 and 2006. So during the investigation, she was like there on the island a lot. So I don't know why she's not in there, you know?
The first thing I knew was he had told me he was deciding to redecorate the house in Palm Beach. Didn't surprise me. It was like a rolling situation.
And but that time, are you like, he tells you because he wants your help, or had your relationship changed by this time where you were no longer kind of acting as his general manager?
No, I was still around. I wasn't gone. I was with Ted. I was traveling. I wasn't daily. If you'd asked me where he was at any given time, I'm not sure I would have known then. I mean, it was, I felt like, I suppose the relationship moved into sort of like a long-term friend, family, you know, like I felt he had with Eva, if I'm honest.
Yeah. See, here's what's interesting though. And I'm going to have to confirm this because I did just get Julie K. Brown's book. I have not read this yet, but I'm going to pour into that. But during the Palm Beach investigation in Florida, 2005 to 2007, okay, it is my understanding that a lot of the employees of Epstein still described Ghislaine Maxwell as like the head of the household, the queen of that Palm Beach mansion. Okay, she spent most of her time not in Palm Beach, at the island. She certainly wasn't arranging the massages for Jeffrey every day at Palm Beach. That was Sarah Kellen. Okay, Sarah Kellen was arranging the day-to-day, like, young girls from Palm Beach for Epstein in Palm Beach. That was Sarah Kellen. Same in New York. She was like his massage arranger. Okay, Ghislaine was somewhere above, right? There's like Epstein and Ghislaine, and then all those other women are below. So Ghislaine was like higher than all those women, like insulated, okay? She was not actively out there recruiting women and shit, but dude, she was like, all the employees described her at that time as being the head of the fucking whole thing. Like she was the queen of all queens. Now, as you can imagine what 𝗪𝗛𝗓 said there, it's highly likely that anybody, right? Sarah Kellen dealt in Palm Beach trailer park girls, and let's go, Marisol. And then, but it would be Ghislaine that would have handled, I think, heads of state, right? Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, who was at the island all the time. That would be like Ghislaine's realm, okay? You know, Donald Trump, the people of that level would be more her realm.
Okay, so he says to you he's going to redecorate the Palm Beach house.
He asked me specifically which decorator he thinks he should use, because I had a lot of contacts with decorators, and he was not very good with people. He was useless at maintaining relationships with people who worked for him. I'm not. So, anyways, I think I recommended, I can't be 100% sure because it's been a long time, but I think I recommended Mark Zeff at that time.
Who?
Mark Zeff,
Okay.
I believe. And I don't know why. I don't remember. That's all lost to time. But anyway, at some point, I think his mother had died now. I can't remember the timing of all of that either.
Okay.
But I ended up in Palm Beach, and he had asked me to come and look at the swatches or whatever he was doing, because they had laid it all out over the house and various things, and I think he'd asked for my opinion. That's my memory of this.
See, this is interesting about the swatches, because I swear to you, I remember watching the police videotape after they like arrested him and served a warrant. They videotaped his house, and I think those swatches were still out on the carpet in one of the rooms. Like, I think there's a part where they walk in and you could see all the swatches for like carpeting and wall colors and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, she's really skirted around her value, like deeply skirted around her, both her value and her position here.
It may also be that Ted and I were going to Palm Beach because Ted had a golf match or something. There was a reason I was in Palm Beach. It wasn't solely... maybe that's not true either. I don't know. So
Okay.
There's a... You know, sometimes I went to Palm Beach because Ted was there. I don't know if that's part of that time or not. Or Ted went there and left me. I don't know. Something. Anyway, I was there. No, that's not how that went either. No. Anyway, at some point in that time, I saw all the swatches. At some point in 2005, I think that was. And then, I believe, I don't remember. I think I got a phone call, actually. I wasn't in Palm Beach. I think I got a phone call that there was a police at his house or something. There was a...
And would you have gotten a phone call from him, or you think you just told by somebody that knew that it had happened, or don't you remember?
Definitely not him.
See, that is an important detail, right? Think about that, guys, okay? Because she's kind of saying she's distant and all that, but when the police went to his house, somebody called her to let her know that the police raided Jeffrey's house, okay? That's an important detail, right? I mean, if one of my friends gets raided by the cops, nobody's calling me to let me know that my friend got raided unless I am an extension of whatever the reason he got raided, in which case then yes, I would be getting a phone call letting me know that the raid had happened. I think that's a super important detail, right? She's saying the houseman. So somebody connected to him, one of his employees, after the house gets raided, calls to give her the heads up. So she was enough of a regular connection that she had to be alerted after there was a police raid.
Okay.
I think it would have been the houseman.
So when that happens, whenever it was, that's kind of the first time you know that Mr. Epstein's being investigated for...
I didn't even know I didn't even understand.
Okay.
I didn't have a context for that. It was
Okay.
like, I didn't even know. I didn't know.
Okay,
I'm not sure even what I thought. I was like,
So
that's weird.
after you...
Yeah, and now she's saying she had no context for like, oh, what do you mean he's getting... Now, mind you, this is 5 years after she plucked Virginia Giuffre out of Mar-a-Lago. In 2000, she plucked Virginia Giuffre from the spa at Mar-a-Lago. In 1996, she sexually abused Annie Farmer with Jeffrey Epstein in New Mexico. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, and she's like, no context? I'm not buying.
Find out about it, what happens with your relationship
I
with
asked
him.
him. I asked him what was going on, and he said, "Not to worry, nothing. Take care. Don't worry about it." And I was like, and then it all went quiet. He didn't say. He didn't share. I wasn't part of it at all. I was off with Ted, and I really just.
Did he tell you? Well, why don't we come back to more specifics around that time period in a few minutes. I want to just finish this opening part. So that case goes on. Ultimately, it ends. What what was your relationship like with him during that case when he goes, when he gets sentenced?
He told me, he said, listen, I'm going to jail. I was like, well, okay. And he goes, I'd like you to stay on board to manage the properties, the animals, this and that, and just stay put, and I'll continue to pay you in case there's any emergency. I don't trust anyone. And I was like, okay.
Well, when you said continue to pay you,
He'd never stopped paying me.
He never stopped paying. So even when your relationship changes, does the amount increase from the $25,000 or so a year in the beginning? Like, how much are you getting paid yearly?
I think it ended at the time, well, we had different payment structures, and I'm happy to explain how that works. But I think salary-wise, if I'm right, it ended at around $250,000 a year.
How much?
$250,000, $250,000.
Dude, she's getting paid $250,000 a year for property management. All right.
And when did it end? When was that it stopped?
2008 or 9.
So
When did he come out of jail? Whenever he came out of jail.
Okay. So, and over the years, it increased from what you said was you thought about 25,000 to 250,000. That's between like early 90s until 2009 or 10, whenever he stopped. Is that right?
Yes.
And how were you paid?
W-2.
W-2 from what company? Or
He just moved me around over to this company, that I didn't care.
Okay.
And I didn't care, and I didn't understand any rhyme or reason. It doesn't. I just, whatever.
Okay.
So
when he's going to go to jail, he says, "Can you stay around and manage everything?"
Yeah.
And do you do that?
I do.
Okay. And then
See, this is so hard because she's saying, I had no context, but she was literally on the island with Jean-Luc Brunel, with Jeffrey Epstein, with Prince Andrew, with Virginia Giuffre, with Sarah Ransom, and that group of young girls. I showed you the pictures. She was there with them. Okay? She was there with them. And in 2006, she knew full well what was going on that island.
And we'll come back to that.
I will not manage everything, no. I mean, there are other people at this point. My specific role then was very, very diminished. Okay. I reviewed the bill structure that came from the constructions that was storming the island.
Okay.
And wherever else I was going, Paris at this point, because I speak French. I'm fluent in French. And also my relationship with the French decorator was critical to him. In the French component part of that aspect was really vital, and so you'd have had to find someone who was, and the Spanish, trilingual. You would have had to find someone who was trilingual and that he trusted.
Yeah, so in jail, he got a 13-month sentence in jail, but he had work release 6 days a week. So 6 days a week, he left jail at 7 in the morning, and he came back to jail at 7 at night. So he was in jail only sleeping 6 days a week, and then 1 day a week he was in jail the whole time. That was it, right? He did that for like 13 months, and then he went on house arrest, where I believe he had an ankle bracelet. And, right?
Did you...
To not steal from him.
Did you... So when he gets out of jail, between that time, 2009 or 10, and 2019, what's your relationship like with Mr. Epstein?
Almost non-existent.
Why?
I had just moved on, and I just didn't want to have anything. I didn't want the drama. I didn't want to be associated with...
So, do you recall, when you say almost non-existent, does that mean
doesn't mean
some phone calls, some
Definitely.
visits, some trips, or what does it mean?
I don't think there were any trips. I don't think so.
And where were you living during that time period, or was it
Which time period?
Between 2009, 10, and 2019?
I was back in New York.
Okay. So you had no. So you had phone calls with him on occasion?
Yes. Well, I certainly did. Whenever there was any legal drama or any serious press intention, I always called him to try and find out what was going on.
Okay. Okay.
And I did email him at that time for those types of details. I was like, what do I do? I was like...
And then when he's charged in New York federally, how did you learn about that case?
In the press.
And had you, as far as you know, been contacted by law enforcement before his arrest?
No. I wasn't in the indictment.
No, I know that, but even as a witness or asking you if you would give documents or materials?
I had never, up until when my lawyers said that, I don't even know, I had no knowledge of them being interested in me. Honestly, I want to say until he had died. Now, I know that my lawyers were in touch with some district of New York at some point after his arrest. I'm pretty sure that had to have happened, right?
Okay.
But my understanding is that they had not shown any interest. I know my lawyers went to see them once, I believe. And
went to see him, meaning Mr. Epstein?
No, them, the sub-district of New York.
Okay, the sub-district of New York.
Sorry.
See, that's an important detail, too. After he got arrested federally, her lawyers... So when he got arrested in 2019 at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, right? We saw the picture of him wearing the IDF sweatshirt or whatever. When Epstein got arrested in 2019, after Julie K. Brown wrote the book and broke the story wide open in the Miami Herald, her lawyers, that was in the Southern District of New York, okay? That was where it was tried. They tried him in New York. They charged him in New York. That's why he was in a New York jail where he ended up dying. So Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers went in and had a meeting with Southern District of New York. So she was definitely a part of the investigation, even if she herself had not talked to anyone. That's an important point, right? Because there's a reason why her lawyers were fucking called in. And I'm telling you right now, it's the same reason why when his house got raided, she got a phone call, because she was some part of the operation.
And that they had been in touch with him.
But now you're talking about after Mr. Epstein died, or are you talking about before he died?
I think...
If you can remember.
It's easily verifiable. My memory is that they were in touch with him when he was arrested. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anything happened until after his death, then after that.
Okay.
I don't think they saw them, met with them, Southern District of New York I'm talking about now, until after he died. I know that they were in regular telephone contact with them, and that my lawyers believed that they had been told that there was no interest in me.
Okay.
And were absolutely stunned when I was arrested. But maybe stunned is too big a word.
Oh, yeah, stunned. Yeah, there was enough interest for Southern District of New York to be talking to her lawyers, which, nobody from SDNY called me when Epstein got arrested, right? My lawyers didn't get a phone call, right? You know what I mean? Tom Brady's lawyers didn't get a phone call, right? But Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers got a phone call. You can bet Donald Trump got some fucking phone calls, bro. His Signal app was probably going off the hizzy, dude.
Right. I certainly would.
Okay. So that's was a long description of what was a very long life, and that was very helpful. So I want to go back and talk more specifically now about particular areas.
That was very helpful. That was totally unnecessary, but here we go.
A very helpful kind of foundation for us. The first thing I want to talk about, you talked about earlier on about Mr. Epstein's financial success. Do you know how when you first meet him at some point, you say, I got this place for you to rent, you can't afford it, and he laughs at you and says, yes, I can. What did you learn about his wealth and how he was, and how he accumulated his money?
I can tell you what he told me.
Yes.
So I know that he was hired from working at a private school whose name eludes me at this point.
That's
Dalton.
the Dalton
He was
School.
working at Dalton as a math teacher. And he met I think it was 𝗍𝗍. I'm not sure. He met someone from Bear who hired him because
That
he
was
was very good at
Greenberg.
that. And I believe that he then worked on creating a trading of
Just describe it. It's okay.
Dude, so essentially what's going on here, I think she's describing, he had been at the Dalton and he got fired from the Dalton, but somebody introduced him to the head of Bear Stearns. The head of Bear Stearns hired him, and then he got pilfered. He became part of Tower Financial, and they set up that Ponzi scheme, and they built investors of like $500 million. And then everybody at Tower went to jail, and Epstein, like nothing happened to him. He walked away from that thing squeaky clean.
Go ahead.
he came up with some new type of trading system. Not a system so much, but as a vehicle, a trading vehicle.
Okay.
That I'm just escaping right now.
And this is while he was working at Bear?
At Bear Stearns, yes.
Okay.
And whilst...
And was this before you met him?
Yes.
So this is what he told you?
Yes.
And what you learned?
Yes. This is what he told me
Okay.
himself.
And so, and then eventually he starts a financial firm? Do you know that to be true or no? J. Epstein and Company, you ever heard of
I think
that?
it's, yes. So, hang on a minute. So, this I did not know, but this I have subsequently learned, is that
Okay.
he had some problem or some issue at Bear Stearns.
Yes, he did. He broke some regulations at Bear Stearns, got booted, and that's when he went to Tower Financial. But again, why is she adding this in? Right? You see what I'm saying? You see what's going on here? And this is what I'm talking about, how they are building a narrative with all the pieces. Because Todd Blanche is asking her about her relationship with Jeffrey, and she's explaining, well, here's what he told me he did. But later, long after this, I found out there was this other thing going on at Bear Stearns. But there's no reason for him to be getting the story from Ghislaine Maxwell, a hearsay story of like why Jeffrey Epstein got let go from Bear Stearns. It is completely irrelevant, okay? But they're trying to package the entire Epstein narrative of Epstein, bad guy, crook, Virginia Giuffre, not Ghislaine. Oh my God, why did they even come after me? They told me they had no interest in me. I've been set up. Trump is innocent. Clinton is innocent. You see what's going on here? But they're putting all this irrelevant info, like Jeffrey Epstein's history has no business in this interview. Okay? None. All right, let's go, dude. Thank you for the 5. Let's go. We got 30 minutes to get that dance party. Appreciate that baby lemon sticker. Let's go. But you see what I'm saying? Like this shit, this information is completely unnecessary. It's like her pontificating about Jeffrey Epstein's financial beginnings has nothing to do with this whole thing except to like build a narrative.
And there was some, disagreement. He wasn't fired because obviously he was still very friendly with Ace and with Jimmy, at least by the time I met him. But they were working with him, and he had client money at Bear Stearns. So his money, his client's money. Well, I'll come to that. But he told me himself that he started a business where he looked for stolen money. So if somebody, let's see, I'm trying to think of some intelligent way to say it, but I can't think of anything. I've been with
If somebody embezzled money, he helped the people they embezzled it from find the embezzled money.
I'll give it to you. So let's say you have 𝗍𝗍𝗄. God, I don't know where he comes from, but anyway, we've got 𝗍𝗍𝗄, and 𝗍𝗍𝗄's laundering money, or he's working with the Sinaloa cartel, and he steals money from the Sinaloa cartel, and he moves it to wherever. So he's got stolen money from the Sinaloa, goes to... This didn't happen. I'm just...
Yeah, understand.
just coming up with something in my head. And the Sinaloa says to Epstein, can you track down my $1 billion that the other cartels stole from me? And Epstein will go and find the $1 billion and will take a portion of the money that was stolen as a fee and give back the remainder. That would be on a percentage basis.
Now, we should note that a guy, okay, listen to this, that a guy like Epstein, whose business is to track down stolen and laundered and fucking whatever hidden, embezzled money, the only way that guy is able to do that is because he is a master at stealing, laundering, and embezzling money, right? I mean, he knows where they're putting it. He knows how they're doing this, right? That's why he's able to fucking, right? You know what I'm saying? You're only able to track that shit if you have spent time, like, doing that shit, okay? Just for the record, you have to be really good at doing it, and then you know how to find it.
No, but like what you just described, which I appreciate, was just a hypothetical.
Please, that was completely hypothetical.
That would involve, like, so two kind of drug cartels stealing from each other. Practically speaking, he was more of a businessman.
So
correct?
Here's how I think that started, is that he had a girlfriend. It was always good. You're always to the girls. I guess there was a girl whose name will come back to me. Maybe not whilst we're here, but I don't know, maybe. There's a woman. There's always a woman. And she was the daughter of a billionaire, for instance. And that billionaire, whatever his name was, had some money stolen. And for some reason, this woman introduced Jeffrey, and Jeffrey, I think that's how that business started. That's what I remember.
And does that...
Dude, now she's like theorizing how he started his business. Like, this is so unnecessary, guys. This is so wild. And Blanche is like, oh, he wasn't working with the cartels, was he? Like, who was he working with? Shouldn't you be mentioning, like, I feel like he's drawing someone's name on a paper and being like, you got to mention this guy. Like, dude, this whole thing is so shady and contrived.
He told you about, or something that happened while you knew him?
No, something he told me before I met him.
And so when you meet him, and once you're part of his life in the early to mid 90s, what is he doing to make money that you see? Does he have clients? Does he have rich clients? Does he have famous clients? And what if he does have clients? What service is he providing them?
He does have, well, obviously there's the one very famous client that everybody talks about, which is 𝗏𝗏 now, and that was a very important client to him. And I think it's probably helpful to describe what I know to be true about what he managed for less. And there's some bits that I'll be improvising.
Yep.
I want to just make you understand I was not part of Epstein's business world, except tangentially and obviously. So what I'm talking about is what I observed, or what I overheard, or what I saw within the business, but I wasn't responsible for any of the client's money or anything like that. So it's separate.
Okay. Yep, I understand.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So with 𝗏𝗏, for instance, it was really all-encompassing. It could go from the structure of the business. So he structured or restructured the limited.
Yeah, so just in a nutshell, I think what Epstein was good at was he was good at structuring and shell companies and moving assets and financial pipelines around so people didn't have to pay taxes. Okay? Tax avoidance and hiding money in offshore banks and moving money around and restructuring business so you could move money around. He was good at laundering and fucking skimming and, like self-skimming. I mean, he was masterful at making sure the ultra wealthy didn't pay any taxes and they maximized their financial benefits of how they participated in the capitalist fucking system.
I know that. and I'll come back to that because I also travelled with him and Les, and I was in business meetings with them on the plane when they were there, so I could observe and I could hear some of this. And whilst I'm not necessarily terribly business sophisticated, I'm sophisticated enough to be able to at least have some knowledge of what was happening. All right, so then he restructured the business. He restructured his entire personal finances, and would also handle all of the investment strategy. I don't know if it was 100%.
Mr. Wexner, you're saying?
Sorry, yes. This is all Wexner I'm talking about now. So let's say you had $1 billion to invest. So you would, in people's normal investment portfolios, you'd have, some T-bonds and this and that. But Epstein's strategies would be much more sophisticated than that.
And so just staying with Mr. Wexner, does, from what you heard or saw, is Mr. Epstein paid by him in percentages? Like, so there would be a deal and he would be paid, or did you understand it to be like a flat fee? Was he a business partner? Like, how did you understand him to be paid?
I think it was more a la carte. So let's say, this is a conversation that actually Epstein told me. So,
So here she's going to say, let me tell you how he got paid from Wexner. Epstein, she keeps calling him Epstein. There's no fucking way she ever called him Epstein. I know, dude. She's been calling him Epstein the whole time. She's never once called him Jeffrey. And everybody referred to him as Jeffrey. Okay? Nobody even used his last name. He was always just Jeffrey. But now she's like, oh yeah, he did happen to tell me exactly how he got paid. Let me lay it out for you. Like, she can't remember shit, but she remembers this detailed conversation of how he fucking made money off Les Wexner.
Illustrated for me, said if I saved someone $5 billion, he would take a flat percentage of that $5 billion. He wouldn't have $5 billion back.
When you say you think that, is that because you heard him talking about that, or you?
It'd be a combination of both. I certainly told me that, and I heard him talk to people like that. I couldn't. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
Did Mr. Wexner gift a property in New York to Mr. Epstein?
So we're talking about 71st Street. So I don't
Dude, now he is just leading her all over the map.
What the business deal was, because again, I'm not part of his business thing, but I think what happened would be that, let's say Les owed him, theoretically, for his services, $100 million, or whatever it was. He could have traded that against the property.
But do you know that happened, or do you remember whether there was conversations about that, or are you just thinking that could be one way that it happened?
I'm not sure. And I'm not trying to be, I just don't remember if that's something I know, or if that's something that I remember, or if it's something that I subsequently know. I believe that to be what happened, but I don't want to tell you that I have. Does that make sense?
Did Mr. Wexner and Mr. Epstein, are you aware of their falling out that they ultimately had?
I think I wasn't there, and I don't know how it happened. I only know what Les has said in the press.
So you only know about their falling out, or whatever you want to call it, from what you've kind of read, not from any first-hand knowledge. You weren't there. You weren't part of that.
Correct.
Do you know?
Here, he's about to ask about Steve Hoffenberg. Hoffenberg is the guy from Tower Financial and the guy from the Ponzi scheme that is right after he left Bear Stearns.
Somebody named Stephen Hoffenberg?
Only from the press.
Okay. And so you don't know anything about whatever business relationship they may have had, Mr. Epstein?
Never spoke about him, never mentioned it. I only learned about that, whatever that is. I don't even know what the truth is of that story, from the press.
How about Leon Black?
Oh, I did meet Leon. I do know Leon.
When do you remember, and again, I know we're talking about a very long time ago, but do you remember approximately when you met him?
I could have met Leon, not really. So I might have met him, nothing to do, because Leon Black is very good friends with other friends of mine. I would have met him, when I say socially, I might have met him. How Leon and Epstein became really good friends, I'm not sure.
Okay, so Janae, I do want to put this in perspective, and for anyone who doesn't know, so she is talking to Todd Blanche. Now, Todd Blanche is the deputy attorney general in Trump's DOJ, but Todd Blanche is also Trump's personal lawyer. Okay, Todd Blanche defended Trump in the Stormy Daniels case. Todd Blanche has been a personal lawyer of Trump's for a significant period of time. So Trump's personal lawyer is second in command in Trump's Department of Justice. And it was the second in command, Trump's personal lawyer, that went and is like setting up this story that is going to exonerate Trump, and it's basically going to build the Trump story that apparently is being set up to refute whatever is in those files. So yeah, I mean, Todd Blanche is that's his whole job, dude. He is there to clean the money for Trump, right? That's what his job is to launder Trump out of the fucking thing. This whole thing is like the biggest conflict of interest you could possibly imagine.
But not through you, as far as you recall.
Not through me, as far as I know, no. I'm sure that's not through me.
Do you know what kind of work Mr. Epstein was doing for Mr. Black over the years?
Same as what he did for Wexner.
So, we just talked about two individuals. And again, I know we're talking about maybe a 15-year time period or even longer. How many clients like that did Mr. Epstein have?
Well, why don't I just give you the names that I remember? And
Say it again?
Why won't I just give you the names?
Yeah.
Do you want the names?
No, sure, go ahead.
Elizabeth Johnson & Johnson.
When did, as far as you know, when did the relationship between Ms. Johnson and Mr. Epstein start?
90s. 95, 96.
So during the time period?
Yes, we're talking 90s. We're talking when I was there, when I was around.
And how did the relationship start?
I don't know how he became that friendly boy. He ended up managing her money. I wasn't there. I mean, I really had a separate life. We really had separate lives.
Okay.
Except where they segged.
But it wasn't from...
It wasn't from me.
From you?
No, it was not.
Okay. And what's your understanding of what Mr. Epstein did for Ms. Johnson?
Same as what he did for Wexner.
So, dude, he's working for somebody, the Johnson & Johnson family. Like, Jesus. He is like working for the billionaires.
And you have to understand, it went down to in tiny detail. So I remember this is an actual memory, that he would make the contracts for the maids, for the people who worked in their homes.
So he would assist his clients at times with, you're saying, with even small things like contractual relationships.
He said no
with
detail was too small, because everything that affected how they lived and how they managed their life was something that he felt he was, if they wanted, would be responsible for, to make sure that the contract, so that if you had to fire someone, it wouldn't come back and sue you, or if that sort of thing.
Okay, so Mr. Black, Mr. Werner, Miss Johnson, who else?
What's the name of the woman from Ohio?
There's someone named Jess Staley.
Yeah, I do know Jess.
Who's that?
He was at Morgan Stanley.
Dude, he's leading her again.
What do you know whether he and Mr. Epstein had a relationship?
Well, not a physical one.
I didn't suggest it.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying a relationship in the broadest sense of the word. Business, personal,
Yes.
both. Okay.
Yes, both.
Okay. And do you know when they met?
No, I don't know when they met. But you can time it. Oh, I don't know that you can. No, I don't know.
So, but what was the nature of their relationship as far as you know?
I think they were friends, and I think that they were business partners. Well, partners, too strong a word, but they did business together.
So, did you Again, I want to stay focused on the time when you were the most involved in his life. So
The 90s.
the early 90s through
And
early
the
2000s.
beginning of the 2000s, yes.
Yeah, again, but in 2006, dude, she was all over that island, right? Yeah, they're laughing because they're insinuating that no, Jeffrey wasn't gay. That was the insinuation there. He didn't have a sexual relationship with the man. Dude, these guys are fucking creeps.
So we talked about 4 people. So
There's more.
Were there more?
Oh, yes, there were more. There was a lady whose name I just can't. Can I get my book? Maybe I wrote them down.
Oh, now she's looking for. She's getting her book. Can I get my book? I wrote some notes for the meeting. Fucking
Epstein
go.
wouldn't really let me meet his clients.
What book are you? What is that?
I'd write some notes for the meeting.
Okay, great.
Is
Okay.
that right?
No, that's fine. I just was curious what we're looking at.
Oh, okay.
Not the birthday book.
It's not the
No,
birthday
we're
book.
going to come to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. I wrote down some names because I tried to make. I just want you to understand my memory's not as good as it was because when I was in Brooklyn, I was in the SHU for almost 2 years, and I was on suicide watch for almost 2 years, which meant that they woke me up every 15 minutes for the entire time, and it really did affect
She's
my
such a victim.
ability to.
Understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
So you've taken some notes.
I
in
just made some names
anticipation.
in,
Yeah, okay.
in advance
so go
of
ahead.
it,
So
and you're happy to look at them. As well, if you
go
want.
ahead.
Okay. Well, funny you say. First 2 names. 1 is Wexner, 2 is Staley, 3 is Leon Black.
Okay.
Glenn Dubin was a
Okay.
client.
Who's that?
Eva Dubin's husband.
Okay. What was there? I mean, if you can. Do you know-
Eva Dubin was his girlfriend, Eva Anderson, the girlfriend that Ghislaine mentioned that Epstein was supposedly super close to.
About when that relationship
Whenever.
started.
Well, wouldn't have been before they got married for sure. So we're going to start. You're going to date that from wherever that was, and then Epstein was heavily involved with Highbridge Capital. And
Yeah, being on suicide watch sucks. It does. But anyway, we're 20 pages away, guys. We're only 20 pages away from some of the good stuff. So we're going to ride this out. Okay, we're going to ride through this. I'm not going to talk a lot until we get to the good shit where she goes off the fucking deep end.
financing or selling of Highbridge to J.P. Morgan.
Okay. Go ahead. Has a Dublin? Yep.
Okay, you're only looking for clients, so. All right, there's a woman, there's a woman in Ohio. I just can't think of her name, but I tried to remember it yesterday and I can't.
So this is a good thing, like, as you think of things, write it down, and if they have any other names, they'll ask you, but
Right.
Yeah,
don't force it out. So you'll have time to think about this, especially today, this afternoon, overnight, because we'll
Right.
probably meet tomorrow.
But you can find them. I mean, if you basically find a billionaire, female,
So there's a woman in Ohio who's wealthy.
and well,
that he
you can
worked with.
identify her yourself because she had the largest Klein painting. It was huge, so you can find her because it'll be in the
Okay.
museum. So that's her.
And so that was one of Mr. Epstein's clients. She was
Yes.
one of Mr. Epstein's clients as
Yes.
well. Okay. Who else?
Well, I think that there was other people that he would like assist. I know that he helped Lynn Forrester, who became Linda Rothschild. She'll deny it, and she has, but she can't.
And when you say help, the same
Well,
help in business or what will help?
No, I have no idea what he did for her. I know he helped her financially. Her husband was the controller of New York. So, but I don't, again, I'm not inside his business, but he would have, this notion that he blackmailed men, we don't really have to go there, that he wasn't a businessman and that everything he did was a fraud or a funk or whatever. I don't believe that to be true.
Why?
Sorry?
Why do you? So you say you don't believe it to be true, but show me why you think that.
Yeah, now she's like, oh, by the way, he didn't blackmail anybody. This notion that he blackmailed men, that wasn't true. All right, one more. We're definitely making it. Here she goes. Dude, here's where it's going to get crazy, though. Watch where she goes with this, guys. This gets nuts. It's about to get
I know
insane.
you've been talking about it, that he was very conscientious. He was very good at math. He paid a lot of attention to his clients. But yes, you're right. There's allegations of blackmail, or also that there was some level of fraud involved in what he did, and you don't believe it. Why do you say that?
Well, let me rephrase that. If there was fraud, I never saw it. What I saw, or what I felt when I ran that office. I was responsible for the staff. People worked. There were lawyers. There were accountants. I never heard him. I never felt anything. I don't know, icky.
She says she never felt anything icky, but she did sexually molest Annie Farmer in 1996 with him. So she did some icky shit. Dude, yeah, this is wild, bro. All right, here we go.
Did you ever see him blackmail a client?
Oh, did you ever see him blackmail?
A friend or an acquaintance?
Never.
Dude, I've never witnessed blackmail. What does witnessing blackmail even look like, dude?
I think when folks talk about blackmail, and we can talk about, that. We can talk about that now. There are a lot of allegations about him, which we should talk about, and we can do that now, and the fact that he abused young women.
Yes.
Full stop, okay? Which means, the way that I'm defining abuse, as has been widely reported, is that
Here we go.
that he would cause young women in high school to be recruited to come to his house and give them massages, and as part of that, he would sexually abuse them. Okay,
Yes.
so I want to talk about that. But as it relates to blackmail, the question is whether you're aware of any time that any of the individuals we're talking about, and we'll talk about others, receive massages from women who are under 18 or may have been under 18.
He's using the massage terminology.
And that whether there was any sexual assaults or sexual contact between any of these people and those masseuses, which would have allowed then Mr. Epstein potentially to blackmail them and say, you have to continue to work with me, or you have to give me money, or else I'm going to tell the world that you did this.
Right. I think this is a really good place to start with how this story began.
Okay.
So let's assume that premise is correct, that he was doing that and he was going to tell everybody, going to say, oh, you had inappropriate relations with an underage girl. If you don't have video or photographic evidence, I'm not sure that even the FBI would take that, well, maybe today, but certainly not back then, would take that seriously. So you have to have something to say, hey, look, I've got this video of you doing terrible things, and you need to. So I built those houses, many of them. I decorated those houses. I put the electricians in for the wiring. I never wired nor saw a single house that had any type of inappropriate, let's say, video surveillance.
Oh, you see that? So now she's like saying there was no video surveillance anywhere in his houses. Why? Because I was the house manager who built all those houses.
I'll define that.
Huh.
Inappropriate surveillance would mean in a bathroom, in a bedroom, in any private area of a home.
In a room where there were massages given.
Inappropriate. I would say I would define appropriate surveillance to be the front door of a house, or potentially, as in 71st Street, the physical plant. Anywhere else would be grotesque.
So I just want to come back to, I know I'm just hopefully saying the obvious, but when you say the houses, you're talking about his New York
Yes.
brownstone.
Yes.
You're talking about the island in the Caribbean.
Yes.
You're talking about the residence in Palm Beach.
Yes.
And you're talking about the ranch in New Mexico.
Yes.
Anywhere else?
Paris.
And in Paris. And so...
And the plane. I saw some ridiculous
And
thing
the
with
plane.
the plane that was,
Okay.
well, mind you, yes. I
So-
didn't hire any electrician on the plane.
So unequivocally, from what you know, and you only know what you know,
I only know what I know.
but from what you know, you do not believe a camera exists, or a video camera, or a camera that takes pictures inside any of his residences.
Correct.
Oh my God. So now they're like, oh, he didn't take photographs, no pictures, right? Dude. Dude, there were certainly, there were cameras.
So even the appropriate cameras that you just talked about, which would be kind of exterior security cameras, did you know whether there was any cameras that you're aware of inside any of the locations?
Never. With one exception.
Okay, what's the exception?
The exception is Palm Beach.
Okay.
And the reason, so in Palm Beach, Epstein was having money stolen. He noticed money was being stolen from his briefcase, call it his briefcase. And he called in the Palm Beach police, and the Palm Beach police, installed cameras on where he kept his briefcase.
Where was that? Do you remember?
At his desk. So the house on the ground floor was, he had a desk sort of in a corner. There was that camera. I think there was another camera. I think there were 2 or maybe 3 cameras.
So, by the way, we should note with the raid is, yes, he was tipped off by the raid of his Palm Beach mansion, and one of his handlers, who was listed in the immunity agreement, Adriana Ross, she arranged a bunch of men to show up and fucking remove a whole bunch of computers and cameras and shit. So by the time the raid happened, there were a number of missing computers and cameras. Everything had been removed from Palm Beach prior. Okay, that was Adriana Ross did that.
I believe only on the ground floor, wherever he may have had, maybe he had another office in the cabana, there may have been a camera there.
When was this? I'm not looking for an exact date, but what time period are you thinking about when you say
2003. I think I can date it for you precisely, actually. 2003, I'm pretty firm on that date. And
So-
I can be firm because John 𝗙𝗪𝗙, the butler, was fired in the end of 2002, and he was the thief.
So aside from law enforcement installing a camera to try to catch somebody stealing money from Mr. Epstein, you're not aware of any cameras at the island? No? Sorry, just so we record it. No,
Oh, sorry.
no, that's okay. You were nodding your head no. So what about...
No cameras anywhere outside of possibly things that I would consider normal. So the garage gate, something like that, a front door.
Dude, no camera. You see that? How now they're like, no cameras? Dude, they are setting this shit up, bro.
Sorry,
Just wait till you see what's coming, boss. This is going to get wild.
Cameras.
Security
No,
cameras.
I'm-
And there were cameras inside in the 71st Street that did the plant, the physical plant, because it was a commercial building. So you had the whole, that's a real thing there, it's a commercial building. And there was one camera on the front door, from the internal that did the front door, as I recall. But there were no other cameras inside the house.
Did you ever, how about photographs? Did you ever observe Mr. Epstein or anybody around him take pictures of anybody in compromising positions with women or with anybody?
No.
Nope.
Did you ever hear,
Oh,
when you were present for conversations that Mr. Epstein was having or others were having, anybody accuse him of blackmailing them or of trying to extort them because of something Mr. Epstein knew?
No.
dude, they are just checking every box of like innocent. Nope. Didn't have cameras. Never blackmailed. Never did anything. Dude, did Mr. Epstein exist? No. Obama drew a picture of him and it came to life.
There have been And you in the discovery you got in the New York case, okay?
Yes.
And in the civil cases that you've been part of associated with Mr. Epstein, have you ever been given or ever been told that video exists like what we're talking about, or photos were taken that were compromising?
So in both of those, I received no pictures or anything from the civil case. But in the criminal case, I received videos of Epstein talking to women and stuff like that. I did get those. I also saw binders of photographs of women. Indeterminate. I never saw anything. Well, I don't know.
Women, what does she say there? Indeterminate, like, I don't know what she's saying, but so she's saying in her case, in her criminal case, there were videos of Epstein and women, right? And then there were binders, photographs of women and something.
How old some of these women were. There were definitely some of the victims from Palm Beach, the photographs of them without clothing.
So there were pictures of young girls from Palm Beach without clothing that were evidence in her criminal trial. Naked photographs of these underage girls, which we know were taken by Sarah Kellen and, his other assistants. People have said Ghislaine was involved in this shit. And dude, this is some horse shit, because again, everybody identified Ghislaine as like the ringleader. She was like the top dog who was managing the affairs on the upper level.
Photographs were the victims that were photographed. Were there any of the people you've talked about, like were there men with the victims, or were they just photographs of the victims?
There was no men with these pictures. There was no client of his with those pictures. They would be standalone, for want of a better word, like modeling shots. If you were
Pictures that Epstein had with the girls, but not Epstein with the clients and the girls.
correct.
Did you, I understand you said you got those in the discovery. Did you know those pictures like that existed? So right now I'm talking about photographs of victims, or photographs of women that Mr. Epstein had on his computer or wherever he had them. Did you know that those photos existed before you got them in discovery?
Some of them, absolutely, because they were in his house. Some of these pictures were on his, credenza or whatever.
Dude, he had pictures of naked underage girls on his credenza in his house. Put that in perspective, guys, which means that everybody who went to that mansion, Donald Trump, all of his house guests, everybody he entertained in that house, walked by credenzas with pictures of naked underage girls. Now, again, there's some police video where they went through the house. He had paintings of naked people. He had photographs of Ghislaine Maxwell on his walls in the massage room where he sexually abused those girls, which was like an extra large bathroom that had a couch and shit in it. I mean, everybody in his circle knew exactly who he was and what his primary interest was.
Some pictures I'd simply never seen before. I mean, I'd never seen some of them. Some of them I had, some of them I hadn't. I mean,
Did you? So you're right, and I accept that having video or photographs of somebody famous or powerful in a compromising position would be good blackmail. But so separate, putting aside what you've said about the fact that you don't know of any existence of those, did you observe over the years the folks we're talking about, or others, which we can talk about, getting massages from young women?
Dude, he is leading her all over the map. So yeah, I mean, if he took pictures, that would be good blackmail, like you said. But so he didn't do any of that. But did you, dude? This is like, bro, this is comedy. Jesus.
I think it's really helpful to understand a few things that has been missed in this whole Michigan.
That's a technical term.
I'll look it up later. Go ahead.
I thought about this obviously a lot, and I've given it some. So this is the benefit of some benefit of what I saw, and some benefit of what I now think. So just for clarity's sake, I just want to say for the record that I do believe that Epstein did a lot of, not all, but some of what he's accused of, and I'm not here to defend him in any respect whatsoever. I don't want to, and I don't think he requires nor deserves any type of protection or for me in any way to sugarcoat what he did or didn't do. So there's that.
Dude, she says she thinks he did some of what he's accused of.
However, the man I met and the man he became, I believe that there is a progression. And I don't think that the man I met is the man that he became. I believe he became that man over a period of time. Now,
Again, before she launches into this, I do have to stop and pause and say in 1996, Jeffrey and Ghislaine sexually abused a 16-year-old girl in New Mexico. That precipitated a call to the FBI where Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump was reported. Both of them were reported by the older sister of that 16-year-old girl. She reported Jeffrey Epstein because of he and Ghislaine sexually abusing her younger sister. And she reported Donald Trump because of an event that happened in Jeffrey's office where Jeffrey called her in and then Trump walked in and she was like, why is Donald Trump, who was very well known in New York in the 90s, why is he here? And then he started looking at her like a piece of meat. And she was like, what the fuck is going on? And Jeffrey came out and said, no, she's not here for you. And then he rushed Donald off into another back room. Okay. And that's why she called and mentioned Donald Trump, because she believed that he too was involved in this sexual abuse and whatever trafficking ring. Because she believed that there was another young girl in that back room, and Trump was coming here for that young girl. But when he saw her out in the dark office out exterior, he thought that was the girl that was there that Epstein had for him. Okay, so it's dirty, guys.
we can discuss anything you want, and I'll tell you everything I know. But I think somebody who has an interest, however you define that, in underage people is obviously someone who is unwell. But I don't think that you wake up one day and you start doing what he's accused of. I think this is something that you develop or you progress to. I think. Because
Glenn, before you get into all that, let's answer the top
Right,
line question
right.
and then get into it.
Okay, the top line question is,
Did you ever see any of these people with underage
no,
women?
so the reason I'm saying that is not to avoid that question, but it's because by the time when you were talking in the 90s, I don't think he was there. That description, I think that what you're talking about is a later version.
Yeah.
Again, in 1996, she was doing it with him. She is a fucking liar. She sexually abused a girl with him in 1996. He was absolutely doing it. They already had a network of arranging girls for doing it. Trump was involved in this. He was right in 2000. They grabbed Virginia Giuffre to bring her in. Okay. And Trump was like, had Trump models that was trafficking young girls from Eastern Europe, and Epstein was getting inspired by Trump to start his own modeling company with Jean-Luc Brunel, which they did. That was MC2. Yeah, dude, she is fucking, she is out there. But it's about to get crazy. Hold the phone, guys, because she's about to blame the entire Epstein case on Virginia Giuffre, who is dead and can't defend herself. Here it comes.
No, I understand that, and I do want to talk. I'm not.
So it's just I think you need to separate the periods of time.
Sure.
Because this one of the things that was definitely missing in my trial and definitely missing from the narrative is this notion, this everything happened and he was always no, I don't believe that to be true.
So that's fine, and I do want to talk about that. I'm not pushing that away. I'm just putting it aside for a moment. What Mr. Epstein did, and frankly what you did or are accused of doing, is one thing that we'll talk about. But what right now
are accused of doing, she was convicted. You see what he did there? What you did or are accused of doing? She was fucking convicted. They had a trial, man. She was convicted, bro. It's not she was accused. She fucking did it. Like,
what I want to understand is whether one of the ways that Mr. Epstein befriended his clients or took care of them, or some would say blackmailed them, was by encouraging them to interact with women, underage or not.
Okay, now hold on. I want to just pause here for 1 sec because we do need an insert here. Right? Because we do need to see this real quick. This is really important. All right, you ready?
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
All right, now, again, why not simply say, no, I have not ever socialized with him in the presence of underage girls? All right? I mean, noted. Thank you. Do you see that head move where he's like, dude, yeah, that head shake was telling, bro.
So I think in the 90s, he may have encouraged them, but these were people who were in their 20s or 30s.
So
he would have a masseuse, right? And he did, male and female, by the way, in the 90s. It's never been discussed. Both in yoga and everything, there were men as well as women. And so if he would travel, and I can show them to you, I highlighted them on the flight record so you could see that there really were men that were also there. He would say, would you like to do yoga with Tito, or would you like a massage with this one? But they would be in their late 20s and professional masseuses.
So
I think there's a distinction.
And I want to talk about actual individuals here, and I understand the distinction between somebody who's an adult and someone who's underage. But even with somebody who's an adult, did you know Mr. Epstein to encourage folks to do that, whether it's a client or somebody else?
I certainly witnessed him. So if you were staying with him and you had a massage, that he would often travel with a masseuse. He would say, hey, would you like a massage? And he did do that, yes.
By the way, the massages, these were not masseuses. They were like 14-year-old girls that rubbed him in their underwear and then he like did shit, you know, FYI.
But would you or him or anybody else follow up with the masseuse afterwards to find out if there was any inappropriate sexual contact?
I never did, no.
So meaning, and then coming back to the blackmail issue, there's nothing wrong with getting a massage, of course not, especially, you know, especially if somebody's obviously an adult and masseuse. I'm not quibbling with that. But my question is that there's a lot of accusations that one of the way Mr. Epstein was successful was through this idea of blackmail. Yes, young women and is a crime. Children is a crime.
Absolutely.
But even women over the age of 18, if Mr. Epstein encouraged these men or whomever to get massages and have inappropriate sexual contact with the masseuses, that's a separate issue, maybe slightly nuanced, but did you ever know him to do that?
No, I never did, absolutely, myself. I never heard him ask someone. I never heard that. No one, in the entire time I was with him or friends with him or had anyone, no one ever reported to me or came to me and said that anything inappropriate happened or was upset by it. I never saw I never saw ever any of that.
Yeah, never saw any of that ever, but she and Jeffrey Epstein again sexually abused Annie Farmer in New Mexico in 1996, which led to Maria Farmer's call to the FBI. All right? 10 years before he got arrested.
And when you say no one ever reported to me, meaning like the masseuses or
Never.
any of the house staff?
Never.
Or the clients.
Or the clients themselves?
Never.
Okay. So let's, again, I want to stay, and coming back now to what you were talking about a moment ago with Mr. Epstein's kind of progression or getting worse. So just staying within the 90s, what role did you have, or what did you observe, which are two different issues but both important, with respect to recruiting masseuses to come to either, I guess, Palm Beach or to travel or eventually New Mexico? What role did you have in that?
He asked me to find masseuses for him.
Say it again?
He asked me if I could find him
Okay.
masseuses.
Like as part of, like you said, you were his general manager, so as part of all your duties, that was one of them.
And I did do that. So the first person I believe that I introduced him to as a masseuse was somebody called. She was, I don't know, late 20s, professional masseuse.
Was this something that happened early on in your relationship, or, and again, I know we're talking about the 90s, but are we talking about early 90s, or is this later on?
So in terms of massage, I've had a lot of injuries. I do a lot of dangerous sports and have had multiple serious accidents and walk without any lameness because of physical therapy and massage. That to me is a very, it's medicinal for me. So Epstein, whatever his massage situation, whatever, he loved massage. And if I met somebody who I thought was a good masseuse or masseur, I introduced them. And because I got them and he asked me if I did, and I said yes. And I'm pretty sure that would have, well, I can't remember. 93, 92, early,
Okay.
from the beginning.
So she's just like casually, I have a lot of injuries, get a lot of massages, and I would refer my therapist to Jeffrey because he too loved massage. Dude, I know, but guys, just wait. It is about to get like beyond batshit. I cannot even describe to you how batshit this is gonna get in the next 5 pages. Just fucking brace yourselves, people. We're gonna go ride through this section and then we're gonna fucking take a break and we're gonna go cool down on something else. But we are about to enter the fucking Twilight Zone. Watch what they do here, guys.
So then what happens over the next, like, there's a ton of writing and a ton of, I guess, testimony as well, but also public reporting about how the recruiting was a very aggressive effort that you were a part of, that he was a part of, and others, to try to find more and more masseuses. What is that true, and what role did you have in that?
That is partially true.
Okay.
So it is true that I found masseuses, and he became more insistent. He like knew all the time. He got bored, so he would be bored with a masseuse, and he would say, "Find me a new masseuse." I am the entire opposite. If I find someone that I like, I stay with them. I'm like, I don't want new. He would drive for new, so that is true. And in my effort to find them, I would go to massage spas, like legitimate spas. We're not talking, funky ones that people have. So, and if I got a massage from somebody in a spa that I liked, I asked them if they would do home visits. If they said yes, I would ask them to come to the house, and he would see if he liked them or not. But these were people who worked in spas. I never ever checked their age, and I never checked their credentials. I never asked for a certificate.
Okay, so let's pause right there because we're about to enter batshit land. But so first off, Todd Blanche, there absolutely is testimony from her trial. I saw someone mention that. But he's never asked her about her sexual abuse of Annie Farmer in 96. But now she's saying, I like to stick with the same masseuse, but Jeffrey just wanted a new masseuse all the time. So I would go to spas, and when I got a good massage, I would find them and bring them to Jeffrey. So she's saying it started with him just simply, I need a new masseuse. No sexual, nothing weird, just his constant need for a brand new masseuse. And she's out there trolling the spas, looking for masseuses, all right, which is not very likely and very unusual. And she's like, but I never checked their credentials, so I don't know how old they were. But now watch. Here's where it gets fucking crazy. Watch what they do.
But just to be clear, you never thought anybody was under 18?
I never crossed.
Okay.
No, that was never my. That was never a drive.
What did you know at the time about him, Mr. Epstein, requiring masseuses to be naked or requiring masseuses to either perform sexual favors for Mr. Epstein or to be there if Mr. Epstein masturbated or things like that? And again, I'm asking you about a 15-year period or whatever, 10-year period. So I appreciate it's a very broad question. So answer it in a way that, addresses what you've been charged with doing, but also what's been said about you.
Okay, so I don't. The 90s.
What is that question?
That I ever thought that never would cross my mind. I'm not sure that I thought about that in those contexts at all until his arrest and those papers came out. But I believe the subject of the question that you're asking me, I believe started in the 2000s.
In the 2000 time period.
Yes, 2000.
Why do you think
2000.
what in your mind makes you think that that's the time that it started?
I think because in December of 2001 he met, and I think was responsible for that in its entirety. And the reason I believe that, so she was a self-confessed, having been sexually abused as a young girl, and was trained, her words I'm quoting now, not mine, in all the arts of whatever that is, the sex program, by a man called 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗆𝗅, who was her pimp from when she was 14, I believe.
Okay, now, here, listen to me. So he's talking about Virginia. Yes, she's talking about Virginia. But here's where it gets weird, guys, because they redact her name, okay? And Ron Eppinger, though, they didn't redact Ron Eppinger's name, okay? And they should have redacted his name, but they did not. So you would know that she's talking about Virginia, because before Virginia met Jeffrey Epstein, she had a situation with Ron Eppinger, okay? Where she had been like assaulted by him. And I mean, Virginia was from a very, had a very troubled fucking life. Okay, so Virginia had been connected to Ron Eppinger. Then Virginia was working in Mar-a-Lago. Ghislaine got Virginia out of Mar-a-Lago and started having her work for Jeffrey. But now she's saying, oh, Jeffrey met Virginia, and that's when all this shit started. So what she's doing is she's essentially now, it's going to get crazier, but she is now blaming this whole thing, the massages, the prostitution, the sex ring. She's going to blame it all on Virginia Giuffre, who is dead and cannot counteract this testimony. and they left Ron Eppinger's name unredacted, and they're going to leave another one of Virginia's boyfriend's names unredacted, so everyone knows she's talking about Virginia. They've set it up to where they didn't redact all of it, so you know it's Virginia, but Virginia cannot defend herself. This is, right? And this is what they're fucking, it's fucking outrageous. Like, Virginia's fucking family is gonna be fucking outraged.
And in her book describes him training her.
All right, so I'm gonna go back a minute here.
Every man, whatever that is.
Okay.
Sex program. December of 2001, he met, and I think was responsible for that in its entirety. And the reason I believe that, so this, she was a self-confessed, having been sexually abused as a young girl, and was trained, her words, I'm quoting now, not mine, in all the arts of whatever that is, the sex program, by a man called Ron Eppinger, who was her pimp from when she was 14, I believe, or 15, I don't know. And in her book describes him training her to be what every man wants in all its manners, fellatio and everything else. I believe that then what happened was that he met her, and she came as a masseuse to his house in December of 2001 is when I think it started. Now, what their relationship was and what happened with them in that early period of time, I cannot say. What I can say is that he liked her, and she started to travel with him at that time period. I know then what happened was that when she first started to see him, or first came into his orbit as his masseuse or whatever, she was engaged to be married and wearing an engagement ring, and was living with her fiancé. She broke up after a few months with her fiancé and took up with the local drug dealer. So let's say after 4 or 5 months in the time period when she was seeing Epstein, let's say we're now May, June of 2000. And
so the clicking Chronix is the court stenographer, right? The clicking you hear, that's the stenographer who's typing this transcript. Just FYI, if you're wondering what all that clicking is, that's the court stenographer. But you see right here what she's about to do is she's basically saying Virginia Giuffre came in and like all of a sudden she started Epstein on this path. It really does tell you, right, what fucking Ghislaine is, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they had a stenographer. That's where this document fucking came from, right? You can hear her typing, right? I've heard her typing a bunch.
Took up with the local drug dealer. So let's say after 4 or 5 months in the time period when she was Epstein, let's say we're now May, June of...
I did hear her for a while. Now I'm not hearing her. For a while, you could hear her. She was fucking a typist or whatever.
And 2, or is it 2000? From whenever she hits the, whatever that is, if that's 2000, I think it's 2000, I'm sorry. I think it's when she met him, December of 2000. So then you go through, I don't remember, you'll have to look.
Okay. I'm not holding you to...
It's weird. I don't hear her anymore. Now I'm not hearing her though. For the longest time, I felt like I could hear her. The fucking, right? Whenever they have a deposition, they usually have somebody there transcribing it, a transcriber. And I could have swore through, like, I could hear her going at it. And now I'm not.
Exact date.
No, I mean, I'm just
not-
trying to, I'm giving the, so then I think, so she takes up with the local drug dealer and she becomes druggy. Like, you know how druggies, well, maybe you don't. I live with a lot in Tallahassee. They become even more unreliable than normal.
Dude, she's basically saying, first off, the way she says that, Jeffrey met Virginia. She's like, first she said 2001 is 2000, but the way she said Jeffrey met Virginia, but like the only reason Epstein met Virginia Giuffre is because fucking Ghislaine Maxwell found her in Mar-a-Lago in the spa and recruited her, and she was not a trained masseuse. She brought her into the fold. She brought her to London to Prince Andrew. But now she's saying Jeffrey met Virginia. Virginia got in with a drug dealer and became a really whacked out person. And Virginia did all this to Jeffrey Epstein. Dude, this is insane. And Virginia's dead. Can't do anything to fucking, there's no way for her to refute this.
And at some point, she's now working somewhere else. He stopped seeing her because he doesn't like people who do drugs. And I think that not seeing her lasted 5 or 6 months. And in that period of time, she got arrested for theft. And she had a warrant out for her arrest. Now this I've pieced together because this piece I didn't know. She then called Epstein to have help avoiding the warrant for her arrest. And he...
Yeah, now I can hear her typing again. Yeah, there it is. I can hear her again. She's back at it, right? But so now she's giving us a hearsay story. I know she's called him Epstein the whole time. She's never once talked to him. She's never once referred to him as Jeffrey. But hold on, I want to hear this again. Here we go. Now she's like giving us a hearsay story about Virginia Giuffre.
Now this I've pieced together because this piece I didn't know. She then called Epstein to have help avoiding the warrant for her arrest. And he sent her to Thailand to get a massage therapy license. This is the bit that I guess. This is the bit that I extrapolated. In the period of time from when she came back to when she left, he asked her to replace herself as his masseuse or whatever she was doing. And she brought the first replacement for her that would have been one of the accusers in my case, I think, would have been and then everyone who came subsequent simultaneously, if she wasn't the first, I don't know, every single person who came to his house came through and her boyfriend Tony and then whoever else underneath her, and that is how it started.
So before her...
Tony Figueroa is her boyfriend.
Again, Tony Figueroa, that's Virginia's boyfriend. They didn't redact Tony Figueroa, so we know that she's saying everyone, every single person who came to his house came through Virginia Giuffre and her boyfriend Tony and whoever else. So she's basically now saying Virginia did all this. All of the sex trafficking, the girls that went through, it was all Tony Figueroa's girlfriend, who was Virginia Giuffre, but they didn't redact Tony. They didn't redact Ron Eppinger, and they did that purposely so everybody who's reading this would know that it was Virginia. And there was no question about the redaction, dude. This is a fucking con job because Virginia's dead, okay? And now, dude, in her trial, they said it was Sarah Kellen. They said it was Adriana. But now Virginia's dead. She can't be called as a witness. Now they're transferring everything to Virginia. And that's fucking insane. And again, she sexually abused Annie Farmer in 1996 with Jeffrey Epstein in New Mexico. Annie Farmer took the stand in her trial and fucking sank this bitch. Okay, this woman is a degenerate, but this is the setup, guys. This whole thing is a setup to shift the blame to the dead girl. And then thereby they're going to try to use this story to refute whatever leaks out of the Epstein files, all the shit that Trump's name is on there, right? Isn't that crazy? Dude, that is fucking crazy, bro. It is like, when I read this, I was like unfucking, like unhinged, boss, unhinged.
Her. So now going back into the 90s, you don't believe that Mr. Epstein was abusing masseuses?
Underage.
Or overage. I mean, I think, well, I'm using abuse in the broadest sense of the word because I'm assuming that you said that you have no idea over the years. You always assumed the masseuses were overage, right? So when I'm talking about abuse, I'm even talking about an adult masseuse who comes in to give a massage and is told to take off their clothes, told they're not going to get paid if they don't keep their clothes, basically suggested they had to watch him masturbate, like the things that have been publicly said about what he did. I'm not distinguishing adults or young or underage women for that. I'm
going to think that would have been a habit.
Okay.
I'm going to say that the massage game was a habit.
What does that mean?
That means that I'm sure that he didn't suddenly start having relations with masseuses in 2002.
Okay.
I'm sure he must have had relations with masseuses, who knows when.
But you're saying, as far as you, I used the word abuse, you're saying that as far as you sit here today, you would describe that more as consensual, meaning the masseuse did this willingly.
I saw him with lots of masseuses. I never saw a single masseuse ever look unhappy or not come back or whatever. So based on my observation, I don't think that if you are being raped, as now he's like this prolific, I just can't imagine why you would return.
It's not what you observed at the time.
Not what I observed at the time, no.
We're going to spend a little...
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there because I feel like that they're now going into Bill Clinton. And so I'm going to pause there because I believe that's a good jumping off spot to pick it up. We're almost done with that. We're going into the Clinton section. But isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking wild how she does that turn? That essentially they used a little bit of unredacting. You know what I'm saying? And they used a bit of unredacting, to let us know exactly who they're talking about. That's fucking crazy, right? That is fucking outrageous, man. Unfucking believable, boss. That's their strategy, though, now. They're trying to pass the buck. Dude, it really pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? And it really pisses me off. But again, Congress is going to be back in session in like 10 days, okay? And some of the victims, I believe, are coming to Congress. I mean, dude, there's hundreds of victims. There's like hundreds. You know what I'm saying? There's at least 300, maybe 500, So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm really curious because there's going to be a chain reaction here of the victims seeing this. Like, you notice this wasn't really covered, okay? Nobody talked about this yesterday. Nobody. Not a single person talked about this. You know what I'm saying? And so I might be very, very well be the first video maker who even addresses this. And I'm going to make videos covering all of this, right? Because I'm hoping some of the victims are going to come forward and because there's many more victims than Virginia. And if more victims come forward, then there's going to be more investigatory work from Congress. Certainly, if the Democrats win Congress, this will be at the forefront of their investigations. Like, I feel like I want to help make this come out. This is really important to me because I was sexually abused and I spent my entire life recovering from it. So like, this is like 500 of me out there that like need help. You know what I mean? And it's really present to, I think, one of the things that can actually put the spoke in the wheels of Trump. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because it's important. For me, it's personal. You know, this is personal for me. I've been through this. Sexual abuse, man, it's fucking brutal. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of unraveling, you know? And this guy, though, like, was entangled. You know what I mean? And so we're not letting him get away with this, dude. We are not. All right? We are not letting him get away with this. But now we're going to stop there. That was all very serious. You too, Gen X. Dude, it's pretty common. It's pretty common, man. You know, I mean, there are some estimates that, like, you know, if the foundations that I did work with, it's like there's estimates that, like, you know, 20 to 30% of people are experience some type of sexual abuse, even if it's in minimal way, like touching through the clothing and shit. It's pretty crazy. Certainly when you get into people in jail, if you go to a juvenile facility and you look at the juvenile offenders, it's like 65% of them have been sexually abused, whether they're violent offenders, whether they've committed sex crimes or what have you. If you go into juvenile facilities, every one of those kids has been spanked and like 2/3 of them have been sexually abused. It's insane. It's literally what fuels a lot of fucking investigative shit. Yeah, well, so the thing about this though, Matt, is like there are so many people covering Trump's fascism, right? Like, I don't need to be covering every bit of Trump's fascism like every other political commentator on the face of the earth. I'm going to cover the shit that is important to me, you know, and the shit that like is in my wheelhouse. Okay. I don't like, there's like 1,000 political people all covering the same shit. I don't need to be covering the exact same shit that everybody's covering, but this is my wheelhouse. Right. And so this is what I'm covering. Right. And like, you know what I mean? We cover what we cover. Right. If you want to follow Trump's fascism, go watch Brian Tyler Cohen, go watch Adam Mockler, go watch Midas Touch, go watch Kyle Kalinske. You know what I mean? I can rattle off 50 people. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm covering, right? And we'll cover a little bit of the fascism, but this is my wheelhouse, man. This is important. But I believe this can stop Trump's fascism. That's the point of this. Okay? This is going to stop Trump's fascism. You know, crying about the fucking National Guard isn't going to stop him. But like, if this comes out and we fucking sink him, that stops his fascism, right? And this has the capacity to actually stop it, right? That's what we need. We need to figure out how can we stop him? And I'm telling you, this is one of the ways we stop it, right? Dude, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it. This is important. You know what I mean? You're still suffering from your abuse. Dude, it's like, it's hard. I still grapple with it. I've had fucking years of therapy and years of EMDR and shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're fucking like, we're going to now take a little break though, because I'll tell you right now, guys, what I noticed is that nobody was really covering this deep into the deposition. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell came out and everybody was sharing a blurb that said Trump didn't do anything. And then they've moved on, right? They've moved on to the other distractions, to Trump threatening Chicago, to Trump in DC, to Trump and the tariffs and all the steel mill. But nobody's talking about this. But I am going to fucking sound the alarm. We're going to sound the alarm on all of this because this is, they're now, the fact that they're trying to move it to the dead girl, is like, lets me know that there's some deep shit in there. Okay, there is a smoking gun in there, guys, somewhere, right? This path of what they're doing, trying to have Ghislaine come out and refute everything even going against what she said in her case, and they are now moving all of the responsibility to this dead girl that can no longer testify, that's conveniently been, committed suicide. I know that there's a smoking gun in there. Dude, I know there is, right? Because it's crafty, but dude, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, see, that's what we need. We need the victims to come forward. And I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to find a way to reach out to some of the victims. I'm not sure how to do that, but I feel like if we can get all of the victims to come forward, kind of the way they did for Harvey Weinstein, that this could be a really big deal, right? But it's fucking wild. But dude, we got to look at Nancy Mace for a minute, all right? Can we just take a minute to go to something a little more relaxing and a little more like less serious? Because all that sexual abuse is like really serious. You're still having PTSD. Ron, from what? From abuse you suffered, right? If you guys, I know we talked about this, if some of you out there have experienced sexual abuse, and if you are having PTSD about it, I want to recommend EMDR. EMDR is the best therapy for PTSD, and specifically PTSD from sexual abuse. It is like, I can't tell you how helpful it is. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go grab some water. We're gonna wean off of this on something less serious. We're gonna punk Nancy Mace. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Hang tight.
You will be late, you could be too. You could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong. And I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure. But I want more.
Let's go. Yeah, dude, I made a video about that Nancy Mace. It's if you search Nancy Mace on my YouTube page, you'll find it. I made a video about that event when she went off on that dude. But today though, dude, yeah, dude, she's got some issues, bro. But she's trying to ride, you know what she is? What she's trying to do is she's trying to ride the transphobia, right? Like transphobia is how she's gotten her boost on. It's how she's gotten her boost on social media. All right, but it's hard though because Elon has astroturfed Twitter, right? If you say transphobic shit on Twitter, you will get a lot of responses. And a lot of it is bot driven. Every time I get in Riley Gaines's replies, I get hundreds of responses. And so the transphobia is a vehicle on Twitter to make money by getting the replies going. And, you know, it's Elon's personal mission is his trans daughter fucked him up, right? And so, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if she's going to be able to ride that to a governorship, though, guys. That's the problem. She will absolutely have the biggest name recognition and the most notoriety, but I don't know if it's going to transfer to votes. But here, you ready? I'll put the link in here. You ready? It is this one right here. There it is. There's the link from 4 months ago, right? Nancy May crashes out on her own voter, then posts it online. Dude, I have some good Nancy Mace videos. I've been covering her for a while, dude. But there it is. There's a video about it, Janae. You watch that video. It's the whole fucking story from 4 months ago. But yeah, no, it's a good video. But anyway, so Nancy is in the news. We're gonna look at a little bit of her shit. These are from it's a cheesy bean and rice. But so she was supposed to give a big speech. And no one showed up. And so she canceled it. Nancy. Oh man, dude. She had a Myrtle Beach speech set up. And it was supposed to be 100 people. 8 people showed up. She rolls in with their people. And then she just canceled it. Dude. So let's find the article here. Okay? Here's the speech. Okay? This is the notice. Look at this shit. Nancy Mace is joining Moms for Liberty Horry County today to rally for parental rights and freedom in education. Okay? So I got to finish my burrito and then we're going to pile into it. Yeah, she is haggard. I mean, she's the kind of venom she's living with. It's going to age her. Right? I know she says, like, they always say, like, oh, my haters can fuck off. I'm all righteous. But when you live on hatred like that, that shit ages you, man. I think she's been taking Ozempic. I think it's Ozempic. And don't underestimate, too, that she said she's been sexually abused. And believe me, when you've been sexually abused and you're like, she's totally living in her trauma because the way she's wielding her sexual abuse like a weapon to go after people, it's classic of somebody that is like deeply in her trauma. So she's like living in her trauma and raging a crusade against people who've done nothing to her. And I think she's probably like snorting some Ozempic or taking Ozempic too. And just fucking, you know, I'm sure not sleeping well, just batshit. And her own staff have had considerable turnover because she's super controlling. She's obsessed with like getting on TV. She's obsessed with notoriety. So for her to have a speech and have no one show up is just like devastating to her. Like that's going to be one of those things. I mean, she's like Trump in that way. Okay. She's like Trump in that way that she lives on this ego of like her own popularity. So when she doesn't get a TV appearance or when she shows up at the speech and there's only 8 people there, it is like going to derail her, right? And then she's going to come down on everyone around her as a result of that derailing. And hopefully if more of that shit happens, it'll escalate, you know? It'll escalate and fucking, right? It will. That's what I hope. I hope we can escalate it. All right, so let's look into this. That was her event, okay? So let's see if we can find a video about this. Maybe a little news coverage somewhere. Probably, I don't think, nobody probably covered it, but except indie media. All right, here's what we got. This one has no views.
Nancy Mace, a Republican congresswoman and candidate.
Dude, I can't do the AI shit. Sorry, guys. Dude, the AI voices, bro, this shit should be outlawed. I'm serious, dude. That AI shit should be outlawed, dude. When I see those channels with AI voices, you gotta, if you see a channel with AI voices, don't watch it. We need to bury those channels. Okay, that shit is just so toxic. Yeah, it is. It's slop, dude. But anyway, so let's find a story. We'll find the story, I guess, in the news. We're gonna have to do a news article because, you know. All right. All right, so here's the event, okay? So this is the reporting on the event. This was from a couple days ago saying Nancy Mace, she attended a Moms for Liberty parental rights event in Horry County. So this was Thursday, okay? Thursday, she attended a Horry County event. Now, I'm not sure if that's the event where nobody showed up, okay? But let's see what we got here. So this is, there she is, dude. Look at her, bro. She just looks gritty. Gritty. All right, so GOP rep Nancy Mace, who's currently running as South Carolina governor, was forced to cancel a Thursday speech after nearly no one bothered to show up. So that's it. That's what the NBC reported. Thursday night, it was Moms for Liberty in Horry County. Okay, she was going to speak at a local chapter of the far-right organization's Moms for Liberty, but changed course after only 8 people showed up. Mace reportedly slunk away backstage to avoid addressing the situation directly before pivoted to speaking with those in attendance individually and taking some questions from the media, of course. Event organizers had reportedly hoped 100 people would show up. Now, dude, this gives me some hope that like Moms for Liberty is like that fucking, right? That it's that dead. Like, let's go, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look at that photo, though. This is a great picture. I'm definitely putting this image on a thumbnail. Oh, shit. South Carolinians will head to the polls to vote for their new governor on November 3rd. Incumbent Governor Henry McMaster, a Republican, is not running due to term limits. Mace, so is the South Carolina election this year? Hold on. I thought it was next year. Do they have an off year? No, it is next year. Okay. All right. I thought it's next year they're going to vote. Dude, I was like, fuck, if that election was this year, that would be huge. Right? She announced her bid earlier this month, one of 5 Republicans. Okay? In announcing her run on August 4th, Mace embraced her firebrand reputation when she declared, "I didn't come to join the club. They don't want me, and I don't want them. I came to hold the line," she continued. Okay? They said, "Stay quiet." I spoke up. They said, "Sit down." I stood up. They say, "Play nice." And I fought back. So this is her battle cry, guys, is that she's like a real fighter, right? Hold the line. I'm a fighter. She ties this in with her having graduated from the Citadel with the first group of women graduates, I believe. But her dad was the commandant of the Citadel. So she was like, had this distinct advantage that none of those other women in her class had, right? I mean, she is like a fighter when she's got her dad, the commandant. She's a fighter when she's got Trump like fucking grinding the axe for her, right? She's a fighter when she has some dude that's like paving the way for her, right? Which to me is not a fighter. But she also, though, she has a problem, though, with this fighting back. And let me show you the problem with Nancy Mace and the fighting back, okay? The problem, it's pronounced Ori. Okay, dude, I like Hori. I'm sorry if it's pronounced Ori. I'm calling it Hori. I don't care, dude. It's always going to be Horry County. All right? Mispronounced, but I'm saying Hori, and there's no way around it, dude. It's my new favorite word, dude. All right, but let me show you some Nancy Mace. Right? I'm going to take some liberties, but thank you for letting me know. But here's the problem we have. Okay, you ready? This is a problem we have. Or I should say, this is a problem that Nancy Mace has. Let me see where, is this. Okay, you ready? So watch this. This is Nancy Mace after she announced her fucking gubernatorial candidacy. Let's watch this.
And in my time in Congress, I actually helped secure the largest infrastructure grant in state history, in South Carolina history. So I've worked very hard on the policies that matter to voters here, and I'm a conservative. I like Donald Trump. I believe in common sense. I'm a prolific drafter of legislation, and as governor, I'm going to bring that same energy, those same policies, that same work ethic. I mean, President Trump is a man who doesn't sleep. Yeah. And I bring that same energy to Congress, and I want to bring that to the governor's seat in South Carolina.
So you see what she's doing. She's doing the same thing that Marsha Blackburn is doing, and she's trying to ride Trump into the White House. So she's going to support his lawlessness. She's going to support the fascism, and she's going to try to ride Trump, into the the governor's mansion in South Carolina. Marsha Blackburn's doing the same thing. They're selling their soul to Trump. But this is the problem. She didn't vote for that bill. Okay, Joe Biden's infrastructure bill brought that money to South Carolina 1, her district. She voted against it. And in fact, we have the reporter. I believe there's a reporter that calls her out on this. Okay, hold on. Let me find it right here. Watch this. You ready? Watch this.
I noticed up there one of the accomplishments, things you were touting was the I-526 interchange.
Mm-hmm. What was the exit at Long Point Road? Yeah, not the interchange, but yeah.
But that funding came from the Inflation Reduction Act. which you voted against.
Right.
Is that an accomplishment then? Is that something you can tout?
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely I can tout that. And you're a raging Democrat, so raging leftist with that kind of questioning. And I would say as a woman, like, you might want to think about how you view other women and how you treat other women, the way that you question them, because women are going to lead this country off the brink, and conservative women. The first female president of this country is going to be a conservative woman, not some liberal like you.
Okay, again, just a question about the bill, whether you voted for it or not, and what you were touting.
Yeah, so she's touting the bill that she voted against, but she's like, can you really tout that when you vote against it? You see her face change there? Yeah, she has no shame. She has no fucking shame. And she, in fact, though, has gotten called out. Okay? Let's see if we can find a community note. I don't know if I can look it up, okay, on here. But she has been community noted multiple times about this, okay? Because she, let me find where she talks about it, right? Let me see here. Dude. I wish there was a way to find, you should be able to search for all their community note posts. Because she has been community noted multiple times around lying about this. Now, this is going to, of course, be a primary part of the attack in the primary. Obviously, they're going to try to shred her for this because it does ruin her credibility, okay, to have voted against the very reason why they get this money. But again, though, these people still tout it, and the people vote for them anyway. Because at the end of the day, her voters are not voting for her based on her accomplishments. Her voters are voting for her because she denigrates the in the culture war, okay? Let's face it, that, let me see if I can find, let me just do a general search here. I'm going to find this. Her voters are, the MAGA Republicans don't care about policies. They literally only care about, okay, you're going to denigrate trans people. You're going to denigrate immigrants and pride flags and the LGBTQ and Democrats. You're going to call them names. We will vote for you. That's it. That's all you need to do. If you play the culture war and lean into it and proclaim the Bible and be a rotten bitch, they're going to vote for it. Okay? They're going to vote for it. They don't care about anything else. Okay? They don't. Voting on hate. But yeah, so here's one of them. Okay? Right here. For decades, DC rebuilt other countries while ours crumbled, right? And it says Nancy Mace voted against the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which invested in roads and bridges and public transit. Right here, another one, she gets community noted. National debt just hit $37 trillion. Not a number, but a bill our kids can't afford. Nancy Mace voted yes on H.R. 1, which is the big, beautiful bill that's going to add $4.5 trillion, right? Right? There's Nancy Mace canceling the speech because she got jacked. There she is at when her dad was the commandant. All child rapists should get the death penalty, she says. Look at this. Nancy Mace wrote this minutes after voting against the release of the Epstein files. Okay? Oh, shit. Dude. And you did. We'll have to fucking look at that. Isn't that crazy? Right? So there she is. There was no vote on the Epstein files today. Yada, yada, yada. But like, again, she's misleading the GOP. The GOP blocked 2 efforts. So she got community noted on a community note. Okay? And dude, she's one of the few people I have seen that will get community noted, and then she'll go in there and attack the community note, and she'll get community noted on her response to a community. community note. Like, she just gets savage. And I think she does she definitely has some kind of mental illness that she's grappling with. Like, you know, which in a way though, guys, it makes her dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It makes her a little bit dangerous because when you're that sort of aloof, you can just lie with impunity. You know what I'm saying? You can lie with impunity and they can attack you for lying, and you're like, if you believe it, it's not even like it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? If you believe the lie, you're right. And that's what fucking mental illness does to people. It like savages them. And remember when she, like, a trans person shook her hand and she wore this splint saying she was assaulted. She tried to sue the person and it got thrown out of court like instantaneously. Like, she's crazy. You know, she is bona fide fucking crazy. But I want to see the one. There's one great one where she takes credit for the money coming to her district. Let me see if I can find it. We got to go back a little bit here. But yeah, she wasn't the first woman, right? First woman to graduate, not her. It was actually Maxine Hudson in 1970. Okay, so she was not the first woman to graduate, and her dad was the commandant. Okay, FYI. But let me find that one. Dude, I feel like she gets the most savage fucking... There we go. That's from August 5th. Nancy Mace is a hideous, Ozempic-fueled, transphobic bitch who has no platform to run on other than culture war nonsense. Meanwhile, a huge percentage of the people of color in her state live in poverty. Not the white people, mind you, just the POC, which is crazy, dude. If you look at South Carolina, like 9% of the white population lives in poverty, and like 25% of the black population lives in poverty. 22% of the Hispanic population. Like they like keep the people of color in South Carolina trapped in poverty. It's bad, dude. It is bad. Here's another one. Due process is for citizens. And it's like, no, the 5th and 14th Amendment guarantee it to all persons. Like, she doesn't even know the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, that picture, bro. That is rough, dude. Oh, this one. Oh, here's one from me, dude. Look at her. She getting cooked, right? Here, she was in Israel. Real women have their own bathroom in Israel, she said. And it says, in Israel, trans individuals have the right to use the restrooms that allow with their gender identity. Dude, she got cooked on that one. That was me. Thank you very much. Dude, she got cooked by fucking the transgender. Like, even her bathroom fucking, you know, her bathroom Yelp, right? Her Yelp for toilets is just getting savaged, right? Oh my God, dude. Let me find the other one. This is just too good. Dude, I have never seen someone get as cooked by community notes as Nancy does, dude. Well, because she's just a massive liar, right? She is. She's a massive liar, but there is a great one. Oh, Nancy. She is obsessed, yeah. And I don't know what happened though, guys, because she was kind of like somewhat normal, right? I mean, she seemed normal. Literally, when she won, when she first won, guys, I was actually happy. I thought, oh my God, there's some sanity grounding the Republican Party. And she was very anti-Trump with the insurrection. And then she just went fucking batshit. Just absolutely batshit. Yeah, a lot of these are focused on this recent shit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the old one. I'm going to give it another minute. Dude, what is she's always doing this weird victim shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Like she's always, I'm going to save that one. I may have to look into that. She's always doing this weird victim shit where she like talks about being SA'd, she talks about domestic violence, and then she tries to like be like, I'm fucking suffering and being attacked, and now I'm going to stand up for all this. She does the same sort of thing that Trump does, which is this whole like, they're attacking me, but it could be you, but I'm going to go stand in front of them and get attacked to protect you. She's like co-opted his methodology, right? And it is, you know, it is a fascist. Oh, here it is. This is the one. This is the one, guys. I found it. Okay, you ready? This job isn't easy. Even harder are delivering meaningful results. But we've just done that. Low country first. 517 million authorized or appropriated for SC1. And then it says Congresswoman Mace voted against the appropriations bill, which authorized the funding she is seeking credit for. Dude, but look at that. She's like 517 million authorized for her district, but she voted against it. This job isn't easy. Even harder are delivering meaningful results. But we've just done that. No, Nancy, you didn't. You voted against it. And she says, y'all are so dumb. Go look up. And she like 3 other bills she voted for. Right? And it says the bills mentioned are authorization bills, not appropriation bills, and thus do not fund. Okay? She voted for the authorization bills, but she voted against the funding. Okay? So she's like trying to do a snafu, right? And then fucking, you know, challenging the community note, and she's getting community notes. And like what I said, Nancy Mace would like to thank Joe Biden for providing meaningful change for her district, despite her attempts at preventing it. Oh, right? Now, see, but this shit, though, right? This shit is going to haunt her. Okay, she is gonna have to like answer for this a little bit.
This $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill isn't true infrastructure.
When the House initially passed the bill in November of 2021, Mace told Fox News she didn't support it because it was lacking.
This $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill isn't true.
Yeah, the bill is lacking. Right? And there it is. Nancy Mace celebrates funding from a bill she voted against. Yeah, thank you, Nancy. Oh, shit. Dude, so this is going to stand in her way. But today, she's fuming. Okay? Dude, I have some good Nancy Mace tweets. Let me see. Right? I think some of my favorites, like this one, look at this. This woman has to turn tricks in the truck stop parking lot just to survive. Trump's economic policy is really hitting People hard. Dude, remember when she was taking pictures of her? When she took a van from South Carolina to DC and she was taking pictures in her pajamas, like filming it? Oh my God, dude. I had some good fucking tweets about Nancy Mace. Oh shit. Right. I did another one. Oh wait, that was the truck stop right here. Dude. Right there, dude. We need to help this woman. We need to help women. This poor soul was found filleting 79-year-old men at a truck stop, trying to look in the pants of young children. We're praying for her and hope you will reverse course and do something about mental health in America instead of lying so much. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, my God, dude. Nancy. Crazy Nancy, bro. Dude, she's in government, dude. Isn't that wild? Oh, shit. On Clan Mom? Who's Clan Mom? Dude, put a link. David, put a link in Discord, right? Oh, my God. I'll cover Clan Mom. When you said Clan Mom, on MTG? Yeah, no, I definitely do some coverage on her, too. I just, her and Loomer going at it was hilarious. But yeah, man. All right. So, dude, we're going to have to talk about Venezuela a bit tomorrow, though, because something's going on, dude. Right? Because we want, here's the deal, guys. Okay? Let me just show you something. Okay? I want to show you guys something right now. We're going to end on this little thing. Okay? It's right here. 445 million. Okay? 445 million spent in the 2024 election cycle on Trump and fucking Congress. Oil. Okay? Venezuela has one of the biggest oil reserves in the entire world. Perhaps bigger than Saudi Arabia's. Okay? Sits under Venezuela. Okay, Venezuela, the reason why wind is gone, the reason why solar is gone is because oil executives are paying Trump and paying Congress, and they want Venezuela. So there's going to be some type of, that's why this Maduro shit is happening, and there's going to be some type of conflict with Venezuela, and it's about oil. They've moved out of the Middle East. It is about Venezuela, okay? This is like the Gulf of Mexico. They've been fighting the war of offshore drilling there, the fracking. This is big oil is deep in the pockets of Trump, okay? Deep in the pockets of Trump. Dude, right here, right? He's handing out $80 billion going to big oil. I mean, I encourage you guys to look at this shit. It is like biggest oil reserves. Right? Let's look at the numbers, guys. Look at number one. Yeah. Venezuela. Look at that. 303. Bigger than Saudi Arabia. Right? Now, you notice some of these countries. Oh, Iran. We're basically at war with Iran. Maduro, Venezuela. They're talking about war with Venezuela. Look at what we've been doing to Canada, guys. Make no mistake, the tariffs and the war with Canada, the 51st state, it's about fucking oil. Iraq, we already went to war with, okay? Russia, Trump is slobbing the knob of Putin. Everything that's happening in America right now is about oil, is about oil money backing Trump. All of it, almost all of his fucking foreign policy and who he's attacking, who he's threatening, all of it is about oil. It's about oil money. I think they're funneling $1 billion to him, man. It is fucking crazy shit. Okay? Dude, the conflict with Venezuela is 100% about oil. Please, dude. Please. To think anything else, they're going to couch it in all kinds of other shit. They're going to say, oh, they won't take their immigrants. Oh, it's Maduro. Oh, it's socialism. Oh, it's this, that, or the other. It's fucking oil. Wake the fuck up, bro. Dude, everything America does in the world is about oil. We invaded Iraq because of oil. We invaded fucking, Iraq twice, right, because of oil, right? We literally fund Israel, kind of, in addition to Islamophobia, it's because of oil. They say it's about drugs, please. Most of our drugs, like, are you kidding me? I mean, even that cartel shit, it's all bullshit, okay? The cartel shit. We sell the weapons to the cartel. When they talk about the Mexican cartel, where did they get the weapons from? From us. Dude, we defended Kuwait, yes, because of oil. We defend everything in the Middle East is about oil. It's all oil, all right? It's been oil for a long time. I mean, dude, the Ayatollah Khomeini took Iran because of oil. We deposed an entire government in the 50s and 60s in Iraq, okay? In Iran. We fucking helped eliminate a government and installed a puppet leader because that government was going to nationalize the oil reserves in Iran. And then we fucking overturned it. And then the religious leader took over. We helped fucking pave the way to the fucking religious government in Iran, all because of oil. I mean, we've been kind of doing this since the 50s, bro. Make no mistake. But all right, I'm going to go make some videos. Dude, I fucking love you guys. Dude, let's fucking go, baby. Yeah, man. Dude, it's crazy. Venezuela, right? That's nuts. Dude, Venezuela has all the oil, baby. All the oil, boss. Dude, let's go. All right. Oh, dude, we got a dance party, though. I almost forgot, bro. We end on the dance party. Let's get this shit. Let's fucking go, baby. Dude. Time for a little deja vu, baby. Oh, yeah, nude Nancy is a hot mess, bro. Hot mess. All right, you guys ready? You ready for a little deja vu, baby? Woo! Let's go. Let's get it. Get it!
Got a lot of choices. I got a lot of ways that I can go. I hear a lot of voices. They have a lot to say. But I don't know
Let's go, baby!
This feeling that I have now, almost a bit
One more chorus! Make it count!
I will make it out somehow. A little deja vu, gonna get it right. A little time with you, and I can see it light. A little deja vu, gonna get it right. A little time with you, and I can see it light. Things will turn out alright this time, I know.
Let's go! Ooh. Oh! Oh shit, bro! Dude. Whoa. It's the blood pumping. Woo. Who could be? Away. We're gonna finish it off with the song Radiant from 2002, my band number 3 breakdown. Thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Good night.
I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Can